My beloved child, this is your sign. You may think you stumbled upon these words by chance, but I tell you with perfect certainty that nothing about this moment is accidental. Before you pressed play, before you searched for answers, before the questions even formed in your heart, I already knew that this day would come. I have been watching over you with love that has never weakened, and I have brought you here because there is something your soul needs to hear. Do not rush away. Stay with me for a little while, because every word I speak today is meant to strengthen the part of you that has grown weary from carrying burdens no one else can see. I know the thoughts that have been keeping you awake. I know the silent conversations you have had with yourself when no one was around. I know the prayers that felt as though they disappeared into silence. There were moments when you smiled for others while hiding your own pain. There were days when you questioned whether anything would ever change. You wondered if I had forgotten you, if your waiting had been in vain, or if your dreams had quietly slipped beyond your reach. But my beloved child, I have never forgotten you for even a single moment. You have been searching for confirmation. Deep inside, your heart has whispered, "Lord, if you are still with me, give me a sign." Today I answer that prayer. This message is not simply another collection of words. It is my gentle hand reaching toward yours. It is my voice cutting through the noise that has surrounded your mind. It is my reminder that I remain closer than your next breath, even when circumstances try to convince you otherwise. Do not measure my presence by what you can currently see. There are many things I accomplish beyond the limits of your vision. Just as the roots of a mighty tree grow deep beneath the surface before anyone notices its strength, I have been working beneath the surface of your life. What feels like delay has often been preparation. What looked like rejection has sometimes been protection. What appeared to be an ending has quietly become the beginning of something greater than you imagined. I know you are tired. I know disappointment has knocked on your door more than once. I know fear has tried to convince you that nothing will ever improve. Yet I ask you to listen carefully, because fear does not write your future. I do. Your circumstances do not hold the final word. I do. Your past does not determine your destiny. I do. And when I speak, hope begins to rise where despair once lived. So open your heart to me. Lay aside every distraction for these moments we share together. Let my peace settle over your restless thoughts. Let my love remind you that you are not forgotten, not abandoned, and not walking this journey alone. This is your sign that I am still leading you, still protecting you, still preparing blessings you cannot yet see, and still writing a story that is far from over. Stay with me until the very end, my beloved child, because what I am about to reveal will renew your hope, strengthen your faith, and remind you that my plans for your life are filled with purpose, peace, and everlasting love. My beloved child, there has never been a single moment when my eyes have turned away from you. Even when you believed you were standing alone, surrounded by silence and unanswered questions, I was right there beside you. I saw the tears you quickly wiped away before anyone else could notice. I heard the sighs that escaped your lips when you thought no one was listening. I felt the weight pressing against your heart when you smiled for others while carrying burdens too heavy to explain. Nothing about your life has ever been hidden from me. The world often sees only what is on the surface. People notice your strength, your kindness, your ability to keep moving forward. They applaud the version of you that appears steady and composed. But I see beyond appearances. I know the nights when your thoughts would not let you rest. I know the mornings when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. I know the moments when disappointment whispered that you should stop believing for something better. While others saw your calm face, I saw the battle taking place within your soul. There were times when you wondered if anyone truly understood what you were carrying. You tried to explain your pain, but words always seemed too small. Sometimes you chose silence because it felt easier than trying to make others understand. Yet even in those quiet moments, I understood completely. I never needed an explanation because I already knew every detail. I knew the reason behind every tear before it ever fell. I knew every fear before it entered your mind. I knew every prayer before you spoke a single word. My beloved child, do not mistake my silence for my absence. I have been working in ways your eyes could not yet recognize. A gardener does not abandon a seed simply because it remains hidden beneath the soil. The greatest growth often happens where no human eye can see. In the same way, while you were wondering why nothing seemed to change, I was strengthening your roots. I was teaching your heart to trust beyond what was visible. I was preparing you for blessings that required a stronger foundation than you realized. I know there were moments when your faith felt fragile. You asked me questions you were almost afraid to say aloud. Father, are you still with me? Have you forgotten what you promised? Am I walking in the wrong direction? My beloved child, I was never offended by your questions. I welcomed them because they came from a heart longing to remain close to me. Even when your faith trembled, my faithfulness never did. Even when your strength weakened, my hand continued to hold you securely. Remember the times when you thought you would not make it through another day, yet somehow you did. You called it surviving, but I call it sustaining. Every breath you took was a reminder that my grace was carrying you. Every sunrise you witnessed was another declaration that my mercy had not run out. Every small victory you experienced, even the ones you overlooked, was evidence that I was still writing your story. There are battles you fought that no one will ever fully understand. Battles against fear that tried to steal your peace. Battled against regret that attempted to chain you to yesterday. Battles against loneliness that made crowded rooms feel empty. Battles against doubt that questioned your worth and your purpose. But hear me now. Those battles did not define who you are. They were chapters, not your identity. They were seasons, not your destination. The enemy wanted you to believe that your hidden struggles made you weak. I tell you something very different. Every time you chose to get back up after being discouraged, you displayed courage. Every time you whispered a prayer despite your uncertainty, you demonstrated faith. Every time you showed kindness while carrying your own pain, you reflected my heart. You have been stronger than you realized, not because of your own power, but because my strength has quietly been flowing through you all along. So release the burden of believing you must fight every battle alone. I have never asked you to carry what belongs in my hands. Bring your worries to me. Bring your questions to me. Bring the memories that still hurt, the dreams that seem delayed, and the fears that keep returning. I am not overwhelmed by any of them. I am your Father, and I delight in carrying what has been crushing your spirit. From this moment forward, remember this truth whenever loneliness tries to speak louder than my promises. I have seen every hidden battle, every silent tear, every private disappointment, and every act of quiet faith. I have counted them all, and none of them have been wasted. I am closer than you imagine, stronger than every obstacle before you, and more committed to your future than you could ever comprehend. Walk with confidence, my beloved child, because the one who has seen every hidden battle is also the one who will lead you into victory. My beloved child, I know that waiting has not been easy for you. There have been days when every hour felt longer than the one before it. You have watched doors remain closed, prayers seem unanswered, and dreams stay just beyond your reach. You have asked me, Father, how much longer? Those words have not offended me. I have heard them with compassion because I understand the ache of a heart that longs to see hope become reality. But listen closely to me now. Waiting has never been a sign that I have abandoned you. Waiting has never been proof that I have forgotten my promises. What feels like delay to you is often the quiet place where I prepare blessings that could not exist any other way. I do not ask you to wait because I enjoy seeing you struggle. I ask you to trust because I see what lies beyond this moment, and I know exactly when the time is right. Think about the seed that is placed deep into the ground. From the moment it disappears beneath the soil, it looks as though nothing is happening. Days pass. Rain falls. The sun rises and sets again. To anyone looking from above, the ground appears unchanged. Yet beneath the surface, life is unfolding. Tiny roots are reaching downward before any leaves reach upward. Strength is developing where no one can applaud it. If that seed could speak, it might wonder why it has been buried in darkness. It might question why it cannot yet see the light. But the darkness is not its end. It is the place where it is becoming strong enough to grow. My beloved child, there have been seasons when you felt buried, but you were not being buried. You were being planted. I was growing something within you that could never have developed in comfort alone. Your patience hath been deepening. Your compassion has been expanding. Your wisdom has been increasing. Your dependence on me has become stronger than it was before. These are not small things. They are treasures that will support every blessing I have prepared for your future. You often measure progress by what changes around you, but I first look at what is changing within you. Before I entrust you with greater opportunities, I shape your heart to carry them well. Before I answer certain prayers, I prepare you to receive the answer with humility, gratitude, and wisdom. If I gave you everything the moment you asked, you might celebrate the gift while missing the transformation that would allow you to keep it. There are moments when you compare your journey to someone else's. You see others reaching milestones that you have prayed for, and quietly you wonder why your path seems slower. My beloved child, do not compare the story I am writing for you with the story I am writing for someone else. Every life has its own purpose. Every heart has its own preparation. The timing I have chosen for you has been crafted with perfect love and complete understanding. I know what you can see, but I also know what you cannot see. I know the conversations that have not yet happened, the doors that are not yet ready to open, and the people who are not yet prepared to walk beside you. If I had answered some of your prayers years ago, you would have stepped into situations before you had the strength to remain standing. Some blessings would have become burdens because the foundation beneath them was still being built. That is why my timing is not careless. It is careful. It is filled with wisdom that reaches beyond your present understanding. Do you remember the times when you later looked back and realized that something you desperately wanted would have harmed you? At first, you felt disappointed when the door remained closed. Later, you understood that my protection had been hidden inside what looked like rejection. In the same way, there are answers you do not yet understand, but one day you will see my fingerprints on every season of waiting. You will recognize that I was not withholding good from you. I was preserving something even better. While you wait, do not believe the lie that your life has been standing still. Every prayer has drawn you closer to me. Every challenge has refined your character. Every moment of choosing faith instead of fear has strengthened your spirit. You are not the same person you were when this journey began. I have been quietly shaping you into someone who can carry greater peace, greater responsibility, greater joy, and greater purpose. So do not allow impatience to steal the beauty of what I am creating. Trust that I am working even when you cannot see the evidence. Trust that my hands are never idle. Trust that my promises are still alive. The clock of heaven is never late, and my plans have never failed. What I have spoken over your life will come to pass in the right season, not a moment too early and not a moment too late. Lift your eyes beyond today's uncertainty. Let hope rise again within your heart. The season of waiting is not a punishment, it is preparation. Every day that passes is another step toward the future I have already seen. Hold my hand with confidence, my beloved child, because the one who called you is faithful, and I will finish the beautiful work I have begun in your life. My beloved child, I know that the storm surrounding you has felt endless. There have been moments when the winds of uncertainty blew so fiercely that you questioned whether you would ever find solid ground again. You have looked at the dark clouds overhead and wondered if the sunshine you once knew would ever return. You have listened to the thunder of fear, disappointment, and confusion, and you have been tempted to believe that this storm is the final chapter of your story. But I tell you now with unwavering love and absolute truth, this storm is not your ending. Storms have a way of changing the landscape. They shake trees, stir oceans, and test foundations. They demand attention because they are loud, powerful, and impossible to ignore. Yet no storm has ever possessed the authority to rewrite the plans I have written for your life. The wind may howl, but it cannot silence my voice. The rain may fall, but it cannot wash away my promises. The darkness may linger for a season, but it cannot extinguish the light that I have placed within you. There is something storms often accomplish that peaceful days cannot. They reveal what has been built on a firm foundation. When everything around you feels secure, it is easy to believe your strength comes from your own ability. But when the winds begin to blow and the familiar comforts disappear, you discover where your hope truly rests. Every difficult season has been inviting you to lean more deeply into my presence, not because I wanted you to suffer, but because I wanted you to discover that I remain unshaken when everything else seems uncertain. Imagine a skilled craftsman shaping a piece of iron. Before it becomes something beautiful and useful, it must pass through intense heat. The fire does not exist to destroy the iron. It exists to remove what weakens it and to prepare it for a greater purpose. In the same way, the storms you have walked through have not been sent to erase your future. They have been refining your heart, strengthening your faith, and revealing a resilience you did not know you possessed. I know there were days when you asked, "Father, why is this happening to me?" You searched for answers that did not immediately come. You replayed conversations in your mind. You questioned decisions you had made. You wondered whether one mistake had somehow changed the course of your life forever. My beloved child, do not allow guilt to become a heavier burden than the storm itself. I am not standing at a distance waiting for you to earn my help. I have been walking beside you through every wave, every tear, and every uncertain step. Do you remember how many times you thought, "I cannot do this anymore," yet somehow you found the strength to keep moving? That strength did not appear by accident. It came from me. When your own courage was running out, mine was holding you steady. When your hope felt fragile, my faithfulness remained strong. Even when you could not feel my presence, I was carrying you through moments that would have overwhelmed you if you had faced them alone. The enemy wants you to focus only on the size of the storm. I want you to remember the greatness of the one who walks with you through it. Do not give more attention to your fears than you give to my promises. Fear will always exaggerate the waves, but my truth reminds you that no wave is greater than my hand. No mountain is too high for my power. No valley is too deep for my love to reach you. There will come a day when you look back on this season with different eyes. The very storm that once terrified you will become a testimony of my faithfulness. You will see how I protected you from dangers you never noticed. You will recognize the moments when I quietly redirected your path away from harm. You will understand why certain doors stayed closed and why certain delayed became unexpected blessings. What feels confusing now will one day become clear, and what seems painful today will become part of the story that strengthens someone else tomorrow. So do not surrender to despair simply because the sky is still cloudy. Storms are temporary, but my love is eternal. Seasons change, circumstances shift, and emotions rise and fall, but I remain the same yesterday, today, and forever. I have never lost control of your life, even when it felt as though everything around you was falling apart. My hands are still guiding you. My eyes are still watching over you. My heart is still filled with compassion for you. Take another step forward, my beloved child. You do not need to see the entire path before you trust me with the next step. Hold tightly to my hand even when the rain continues to fall. Lift your eyes above the clouds, because beyond every storm the sun is still shining. The winds will grow quiet. The waves will settle. Peace will return. And when that day comes, you will not simply say that you survived the storm. You will declare with confidence that I carried you through it, transformed you within it, and led you into a future more beautiful than you could have imagined. My beloved child, I never created you to carry every weight by yourself. Yet I have watched you try. I have seen you hold tightly to worries that have stolen your sleep. I have seen you carry responsibilities that have drained your strength. I have watched you replay painful memories over and over, hoping that somehow you could change what has already passed. I have seen you fear tomorrow before tomorrow has even arrived. Your shoulders have grown tired, your heart has become weary, and your spirit has longed for rest. Come closer to me now, because I want to remind you that you were never meant to walk this journey alone. From the beginning, my desire has always been to walk beside you, not behind you waiting for you to fail, and not far ahead of you leaving you to find your own way. I am your loving Father, and a loving father does not ask his child to carry loads that are too heavy for them. When a child struggles beneath the weight of something beyond their strength, the father reaches down, lifts the burden, and carries it himself. That is what I have always desired to do for you. Yet so often you continue holding on because you believe you must solve everything before you come to me. My beloved child, you do not need to clean up every broken piece before you enter my presence. You do not need to find all the answers before speaking with me. You do not need to become stronger before accepting my help. Bring your weakness to me. Bring your confusion to me. Bring your disappointment, your fears, your questions, and even the emotions you struggle to understand. Nothing you place into my hands will ever overwhelm me. There is no burden too heavy for my strength and no heart too wounded for my healing. Think of a traveler walking a long road while carrying a backpack filled with stones. At first, the weight seems manageable. With each passing mile, however, every stone begins to feel heavier. The traveler grows exhausted, not because the journey is impossible, but because they are carrying things they were never meant to keep. Many of the burdens you carry are like those stones. Some are regrets from yesterday. Some are fears about tomorrow. Some are words spoken over you by people who did not understand your worth. Some are expectations that I never asked you to meet. Every unnecessary weight slows your steps and steals your joy. I am inviting you today to open that backpack. One by one, place those stones into my hands. Lay down the regret that keeps reminding you of your mistakes. I have already seen every failure, and my love has never turned away from you. Lay down the fear that whispers you will never be enough. I formed you with purpose before you took your first breath, and my opinion of you is not changed by the voices of doubt. Lay down the pressure to control every outcome. You cannot carry tomorrow because tomorrow is already safely held within my hands. I know that surrender does not always feel easy. Sometimes you believe that if you keep worrying, you are somehow protecting yourself from disappointment. But worry has never created peace. Anxiety has never added strength to your soul. Fear has never built a brighter future. These burdens promise control, but they only leave your heart exhausted. True peace begins when you trust that I am already working in places you cannot see. Do not misunderstand what I am saying. Surrender is not giving up. It is giving over. It is choosing to place into my hands what you cannot carry so that your own hands become free to receive what I have prepared for you. When your hands are tightly clenched around fear, they cannot fully receive hope. When your heart is consumed by anxiety, it struggles to recognize my peace. But when you release what has been weighing you down, you make room for my strength to fill every empty place. There is a quiet river that flows through the hearts of those who trust me. It does not always remove every challenge immediately, but it brings calm even before circumstances change. That peace is not found in perfect situations. It is found in my presence. The world searches for rest by escaping problems, but I offer something deeper. I offer rest in the middle of life's uncertainties because my presence is greater than any storm you face. So breathe deeply, my beloved child, and listen to my voice above every anxious thought. You do not have to carry the expectations of everyone around you. You do not have to hold on to every painful memory as though it defines your future. You do not have to fear every unknown road ahead. I am walking before you, beside you, and behind you. I am surrounding you with a love that never grows weary and a faithfulness that never fails. Today, choose to trust me in a new way. Lay every burden at my feet and leave it there. Do not pick it up again when fear returns to knock at your door. Remember that what you have entrusted to me is safe in my hands. As you release your heavy burdens, I will replace them with my peace. I will strengthen your heart when you feel weak, renew your spirit when you grow tired, and remind you every day that my yoke is gentle, my love is constant, and my arms are always open to receive you. Walk forward with a lighter heart, my beloved child, because you no longer have to carry what your Father has already promised to bear for you. My beloved child, there have been doors you stood before with great hope, only to watch them remain firmly closed. You prayed with sincerity. You worked with diligence. You waited with expectation. Yet despite your best efforts, nothing seemed to move. There were moments when you questioned yourself, wondering if you had failed, if you had missed your purpose, or if I had simply chosen someone else. But I want you to hear my voice clearly today. Every closed door has not been a rejection of your worth. Many of them have been expressions of my protection, my wisdom, and my love for you. You often see only the door directly in front of you, but I see the entire path beyond it. I know where every road leads. I know which opportunities would bring lasting peace and which ones would slowly steal your joy. I know the conversations you have not yet heard, the intentions hidden within people's hearts, and the consequences that remain invisible to you today. Because I see what you cannot. There are times when my greatest act of love is not opening a door immediately, but keeping it closed until the right moment, or closing it forever to protect your future. I know this has been difficult to understand. You have watched others walk through opportunities you once prayed for. You have wondered why they received the answer while you remained waiting. Comparison has quietly whispered that you were overlooked. Discouragement has suggested that perhaps your prayers mattered less. But my beloved child, do not measure my faithfulness by comparing your timeline with someone else's. I am writing a story that is uniquely yours, and every chapter has been carefully arranged with purpose. Think of a shepherd leading his sheep through unfamiliar hills. The sheep cannot see the dangerous cliffs beyond the next bend. They do not recognize the hidden predators waiting in the distance. They only see that the shepherd has chosen a different path than the one they expected. If they judged only by what their eyes could see, they might believe the shepherd was delaying them without reason. Yet every turn, every pause, and every change in direction comes from a heart determined to bring them safely home. My guidance is no different. When I redirect your steps, I am not confusing your journey. I am preserving it. There have been relationships you desperately wanted to keep, but they slipped away despite your efforts. There were opportunities that seemed perfect, yet they disappeared before you could reach them. There were plans that collapsed so unexpectedly that you questioned whether anything good could come from the disappointment. My beloved child, I know those losses hurt. I know the silence that followed was painful. But not everything you lose is taken from you. Some things are lovingly removed so they cannot prevent you from receiving something greater. Imagine trying to hold on to a branch that has already begun to break. You cling to it because it feels familiar, even though it can no longer support your weight. Meanwhile, I am extending my hand toward you, inviting you to let go so I can lead you to solid ground. Letting go often feels frightening because you cannot yet see what I have prepared. But faith is not built by holding tightly to what is falling apart. Faith grows when you trust the one whose hands have never failed you. Do not spend your energy trying to force open doors that I have gently closed. A door opened by fear will often lead to regret. A door opened by impatience may bring burdens you were never meant to carry. But the doors I open require no manipulation, no endless striving, and no desperate grasping. When my time arrives, what I have prepared for you will come with a peace that confirms my presence. You will not have to sacrifice your integrity to receive it. You will not have to abandon your values to keep it. What comes from my hand carries my blessing. While you wait for those doors to open, continue becoming the person I am shaping you to be. Every day is an opportunity to grow in wisdom, kindness, humility, and trust. Do not believe that this season has no purpose simply because the destination has not yet appeared. The preparation is just as important as the promise. A house is only as strong as the foundation beneath it, and I have been strengthening the foundation of your life so that the blessings ahead will stand firm through every season. You may not realize it now, but there are doors already beginning to move. Conversations are unfolding that you know nothing about. Hearts are being prepared. Circumstances are shifting. Paths are being cleared. I am working quietly behind the scenes, arranging details with perfect precision. What seems impossible from your perspective is entirely possible in my hands. I am never limited by timing, by human opinion, or by obstacles that appear too great. So release the frustration that has been weighing upon your heart. Stop believing that every closed door is a sign that your future has been diminished. Instead, see each one as an opportunity to trust me more deeply. The doors I have chosen for your life cannot be locked by fear, delayed by the opinions of others, or stolen by circumstances. What I have prepared for you will arrive at the appointed time, and when it does, you will understand why you had to wait. Walk forward with confidence, my beloved child. Keep your eyes on me instead of the doors that have remained shut. I am the one who holds every key. I am opening what you cannot open, arranging what you cannot arrange, and making a way where no path seems to exist. Trust my timing, trust my wisdom, and trust my heart, because the future I am leading you toward is far greater than anything you have been forced to leave behind. My beloved child, there is a voice that has followed you for far too long. It does not shout all the time. Often it whispers, It speaks in quiet moments when the room is still and your thoughts begin to wander. It asks, what if everything falls apart? What if you fail? What if you are not enough? What if this pain never ends? Little by little, those whispers try to grow louder until they sound like truth. But I have come to remind you today that fear has spoken long enough. It is time for my voice to become the loudest one in your heart. Fear has tried to convince you that your future is already written by your past. It has pointed to your mistakes as though they were permanent labels. It has replayed painful memories, hoping you would believe that yesterday has the power to control tomorrow. But my beloved child, I am not the author of fear. I am the author of hope. I do not define you by your worst day, your deepest wound, or your greatest disappointment. I define you by my love, my purpose, and the life I have breathed into you. I know there were times when fear kept you from taking the next step. You wanted to trust, but uncertainty stood before you like a giant mountain. You wanted to believe, but disappointment from the past made your heart hesitate. You wanted to move forward, but every possibility of failure seemed larger than every promise I had spoken. Yet even in those moments, I never stopped calling your name. I never stopped inviting you to walk with me, one step at a time. Think of a little child learning to walk. The child stumbles, falls, and sometimes cries. Yet a loving father does not stand at a distance criticizing every mistake. He stretches out his hands and encourages the child to try again. The father's confidence becomes greater than the child's fear. That is how I look at you. I do not become discouraged when you struggle. I do not withdraw my love when your faith feels small. I simply keep extending my hand, inviting you to rise again, because I already see the strength that is growing within you. Fear always demands certainty before it allows you to move. Faith moves because it trusts the one who is leading the way. You have often wanted me to reveal every detail of your future before taking the next step. But if I showed you everything at once, you might begin depending on what you know instead of depending on me. My desire is not merely to guide your path, but to deepen your relationship with me. Every step of faith is another opportunity to discover my faithfulness. Do not believe every thought that enters your mind. Not every voice deserves your agreement. Fear often disguises itself as wisdom, telling you that staying where you are is safer than moving forward. But sometimes what feels safe is actually the place where dreams slowly fade away. Sometimes fear builds comfortable prisons that look like protection. It tells you not to hope too much, not to love too deeply, not to try again, because disappointment might come. Yet by listening to fear, you miss the beautiful possibilities that I have placed before you. Remember the countless times I have carried you through situations you never imagined you could survive. There were seasons when you believed you had reached your limit, yet my strength carried you beyond it. There were prayers you thought would never be answered, yet I responded in ways you did not expect. There were moments when doors opened after you had almost given up knocking. If I have remained faithful through every chapter behind you, why would I abandon you in the chapter ahead? My beloved child, courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means choosing to trust me even when fear continues to whisper. It means taking one faithful step while holding my hand. It means believing that my promises are greater than your doubts. Every act of obedience weakens fear's grip upon your heart. Every prayer strengthens your confidence in my presence. Every moment you choose hope instead of despair becomes a declaration that fear no longer controls your life. Today I am asking you to release the stories fear has been telling you. Release the belief that you are too broken to be restored. Release the lie that you have missed your opportunity forever. Release the thought that your weaknesses disqualify you from my purpose. I have never been limited by human weakness. Throughout every generation, I have brought light into darkness, hope into despair, and victory where defeat once seemed certain. I will do the same in your life. When fear reminds you of everything that could go wrong, remember everything that has already gone right because of my grace. Remember every unexpected blessing, every answered prayer, every quiet miracle, and every moment when I made a way where none seemed possible. Let those memories become stones of remembrance and strengthen your faith for the journey ahead. So lift your head, my beloved child. Stand a little taller today. Breathe deeply and let my peace settle over your heart. The future does not belong to fear. It belongs to me. Your story does not end in defeat. It continues under my faithful hand. Fear has spoken long enough, but now my truth will lead you forward. Walk with confidence, because I am beside you with every step, and wherever I lead you, my love, my strength, and my perfect peace will go before you. My beloved child, not every wound can be seen by human eyes. Some scars are hidden beneath your smile. Some pain has settled so deeply into your heart that you have almost forgotten what it feels like to live without it. Others may look at you and believe you are completely whole, yet I know the places within you that still ache. I know the memories that return without warning. I know the words that wounded your spirit years ago but still echo in quiet moments. I know the disappointments you buried because you believed no one would understand. Nothing hidden within you is hidden from me. I have never looked at your broken places with disappointment. I look at them with compassion. I do not turn away from your pain because it is too complicated or too deep. I draw closer. Where others may have misunderstood your silence, I have listened to every unspoken cry. Where others saw only your outward strength, I saw the effort it took just to keep moving forward. My beloved child, you have carried invisible wounds for long enough. Today I want you to know that I am gently restoring what life has tried to break. Healing is often quieter than you expect. You may look for dramatic changes overnight, but many of my greatest works begin like the first light of dawn. Before the sun fully rises, darkness slowly gives way to light. The change is gentle, almost unnoticed, yet it is certain. In the same way, I have already begun healing your heart in ways you may not yet recognize. Every moment you choose forgiveness over bitterness, healing is taking place. Every time you choose hope after disappointment, healing is growing stronger. Every prayer you whisper through tears becomes another invitation for my restoring presence to fill the places that once held pain. There are memories that have tried to define you. They remind you of rejection, failure, betrayal, or loss. They whisper that because those things happened, you will never truly be free. But my beloved child, your past may explain some of your pain, yet it does not have the authority to determine your future. I am able to take the very places that once caused you to weep and transform them into testimonies of my faithfulness. The scars may remind you of where you have been, but they will no longer control where you are going. Imagine a skilled artist restoring an old painting that has been damaged by time. At first glance, the canvas appears beyond repair. Colors have faded, cracks have formed, and beauty seems to have disappeared. Yet the artist does not throw the painting away. With patience, care, and steady hands, every damaged place is touched until the masterpiece begins to appear again. My beloved child, that is how I am working in your life. I see the masterpiece I created long before the world left its marks upon you. I am not focused on what had been damaged. I am focused on restoring what I designed from the beginning. Perhaps someone spoke words over you that made you question your value. Perhaps you were abandoned when you needed love the most. Perhaps you trusted someone who broke that trust, leaving your heart guarded and afraid to hope again. Those experiences were real, and I do not ask you to pretend they never happened. But I do ask you to let me speak a greater truth over your life. What others said about you is not greater than what I have declared. What others failed to give you does not limit what I am able to provide. Their actions may have wounded your heart, but they cannot cancel my purpose for your life. Do not become discouraged if healing takes time. A tree that has been damaged by a storm does not produce new branches overnight. Yet as its roots continue receiving water and nourishment, life quietly returns. In the same way, every moment you remain close to me allows my love to reach deeper into your heart. Some healing happens instantly, while other healing unfolds day by day as you continue walking with me. Neither process is a sign of weakness. Both are evidence that I am faithfully completing the work I have begun. There will be days when old memories try to return with their familiar pain. When that happens, do not believe that your healing has failed. Instead, remember that healing is not the absence of memories. It is the freedom to remember without being imprisoned by them. It is the ability to look back and see my faithfulness standing beside you even in your darkest moments. It is discovering that what once brought only tears can now remind you of the strength and grace that carried you through. My beloved child, I am also healing the places you cannot yet identify. I am restoring your confidence where fear weakened it. I am rebuilding your trust where disappointment shattered it. I am renewing your joy where sorrow tried to silence it. I am breathing fresh hope into dreams that seemed lifeless. Even when you cannot feel every change, my hands are still at work. My love never grows tired, and my patience never runs out. So stop believing that you must remain the person pain tried to create. You are becoming the person I have always called you to be. Let my peace settle over every anxious thought. Let my truth replace every lie that has followed you. Let my love reach every hidden corner of your heart. I am healing what you cannot see, my beloved child, and one day you will look back with gratitude, realizing that while you thought you were simply surviving, I was quietly restoring every broken place and leading you into a life marked not by your wounds, but by my everlasting love. My beloved child, there are promises I have spoken over your life that you have almost stopped expecting. They once filled your heart with excitement. They gave you courage to keep moving forward. They inspired you to dream beyond your circumstances. But as the days became months and the months became years, waiting began to test your confidence. Questions quietly entered your heart. You wondered if you had misunderstood my voice. You questioned whether the promise had faded with time. You even asked yourself if I had changed my mind. But listen carefully to me now, because I want this truth to settle deeply into your spirit. I have never forgotten my promises, and I never will. I am not like the world, where words are often spoken and then abandoned. Human promises can be broken by changing emotions, unexpected circumstances, or limited ability. But my promises are not built upon uncertainty. They are established upon my unchanging nature. I do not make commitments that I cannot fulfill. I do not speak hope into your heart only to leave you disappointed. When I declare a purpose over your life, I remain faithful to complete what I have begun, even when the journey takes longer than you expected. You often look at the passing of time and wonder if delaying means denial. But my beloved child, time does not weaken my promises. It often strengthens the person who is waiting to receive them. I know that is not always easy to understand. There were moments when you prayed with great expectation, believing the answer would arrive quickly. Instead, silence seemed to fill the space where you expected immediate change. Yet even in those quiet seasons, my hands were never still. I was arranging circumstances, shaping hearts, opening paths, and preparing you for blessings that required more than a single moment to unfold. Think of the sunrise. Long before the first rays appear above the horizon, the morning has already begun. While the world still sees darkness, the light is steadily approaching. The night cannot stop it. The clouds cannot prevent it. The timing is certain because it has already been established. My promises are like that sunrise. Even when your eyes still see darkness, the fulfillment is drawing nearer than you realize. Just because you cannot yet see the light does not mean it has failed to come. There have been times when you interpreted closed doors, unexpected setbacks, or painful disappointments as evidence that my promises had ended. But my beloved child, never confuse a difficult season with a canceled destiny. A river sometimes bends around mountains before reaching the sea, yet it still arrives at its destination. In the same way, the path I lead you on may not always be straight or easy, but every step is carrying you toward the future I have prepared. Perhaps you remember dreams that once burned brightly within your heart. You spoke about them with confidence. You prayed over them with faith. But after repeated disappointments, you quietly placed those dreams on a shelf, afraid to hope again because hope itself had become painful. I understand that feeling. I know how disappointment can make your heart cautious. Yet I am gently asking you today to open your heart once more. Not because everything will happen exactly as you imagined, but because my plans are greater than your expectations. Some dreams I fulfill exactly as you prayed. Others I transform into something even more beautiful than you could have imagined. Do you remember the many ways I have already been faithful throughout your life? Think about the seasons you believed would never end, yet they eventually passed. Think about the doors that unexpectedly opened when you thought every opportunity had disappeared. Think about the strength you discovered in moments when you believed you had nothing left to give. None of those things happened by chance. They were reminders that I have always been working, even when you could not see my hand. Do not allow disappointment to rewrite your understanding of my character. Your circumstances change, but my heart toward you does not. My love remains constant. My mercy is renewed every morning. My faithfulness is not measured by how quickly answers arrive, but by the certainty that I will accomplish what is truly best for you. Even when my answer takes a different path than you expected, it is always guided by wisdom, compassion, and a future filled with hope. There are promises that are already moving toward fulfillment, though you cannot yet recognize them. Conversations are taking place that will shape your tomorrow. Opportunities are quietly developing beyond your view. Hearts are changing. Doors are preparing to open. I am weaving together details that seem unrelated today but will one day reveal the beauty of my perfect timing. Nothing hath been forgotten. Nothing hath been misplaced. Every promise remains safely held within my hands. So lift your eyes beyond what you can presently see. Refuse to let discouragement become the final voice in your heart. Instead, remember who I am. I am the one who speaks life where others see impossibility. I am the one who creates pathways through wilderness and hope in the middle of despair. I do not abandon what I begin, and I do not forget the words I have spoken over my beloved children. Hold tightly to my hand as you continue this journey. When doubt tries to whisper that nothing will ever change, answer it with the confidence that my promises are alive. When fear suggests that you have waited too long, remember that my timing is never late. Trust me once again, my beloved child. The story I am writing is still unfolding, and every promise I have placed within your heart is being carried forward by my faithful hands. What I have spoken will not return empty. In the right season, you will see that I remembered every promise, every prayer, and every tear, and you will rejoice because my faithfulness has never failed you. My beloved child, I know how often your thoughts have wandered into tomorrow. You have wondered what the next chapter will hold. You have questioned whether the road ahead will bring peace or more struggle. There have been nights when your mind raced through countless possibilities, trying to prepare for every outcome. You believed that if you could think hard enough or plan carefully enough, you could protect yourself from disappointment. But I gently remind you today that tomorrow has never been yours to carry. It has always rested safely within my hands. Before you wake each morning, I am already there. Before the sun rises over the horizon, I have already seen every moment the day will bring. I am not surprised by the challenges that appear before you, nor am I limited by them. What feels uncertain to you is completely unknown to me. I stand outside the boundaries of time. I see the beginning and the ending at once. I know every conversation you will have, every opportunity that will come, every obstacle that will try to stand in your way, and every blessing I have already prepared for you. Nothing about your future is hidden from my sight. Because you cannot see tomorrow, fear often tries to fill the empty spaces with frightening stories. It whispers that the worst will happen. It tells you to expect disappointment before hope has a chance to grow. But fear has never seen what I have seen. Fear cannot read the plans I have written for your life. Fear only guesses. I know. That is why I ask you to trust my knowledge more than your imagination. Imagine a child traveling through a dense forest while holding the hand of a loving father. The child can't see beyond the next few steps because the trees block the view. Every unfamiliar sound creates uncertainty. Every winding path raises new questions. Yet the Father has walked this path before. He knows where the safe ground lies. He knows where the streams flow, where the cliffs begin, and where the journey leads. The child finds peace not because the path becomes easy, but because the Father's hand never lets go. My beloved child, you are that child, and I am your Father. You do not need to know everything about tomorrow because you already know the one who holds it. Do not spend today's strength worrying about tomorrow's possibilities. Every moment consumed by anxiety is a moment stolen from the peace I desire to give you. I have provided grace for today, and when tomorrow arrives, I will provide fresh grace again. You were never meant to carry the weight of days that have not yet come. The future is not asking you to solve it today. It is inviting you to trust me one faithful step at a time. There are blessings waiting for you that you cannot yet imagine. There are prayers I am already answering in ways you have not yet recognized. There are people I am preparing to encourage you, opportunities I am arranging to strengthen you, and moments of unexpected joy that will remind you of my faithfulness. Even now, while you wonder how everything will come together, I am quietly bringing every piece into its proper place. Nothing is random. Nothing is wasted. Every detail is being woven together with perfect wisdom. When tomorrow finally becomes today, you will discover once again that I arrived before you did. You will see doors open that you thought would remain closed forever. You will receive strength you did not know you possessed. You will find peace in situations that once filled you with fear. And when you look back, you will realize that I was preparing your path long before you ever reached it. So rest your heart, my beloved child. Stop allowing the unknown to steal the joy of the present moment. Lift your eyes toward me instead of toward your worries. My plans for you have not been shaken by unexpected events. My love has not been weakened by your doubts. My promises have not been delayed beyond my perfect timing. Your tomorrow is secure because it is held by hands that have never failed and never will. Walk into each new day with quiet confidence. Let hope become stronger than anxiety. Let faith become louder than fear. Keep taking the next step I place before you. knowing that every step is leading you closer to the beautiful future I have prepared. Your tomorrow is already in my hands, and because you are in my hands as well, you have nothing to fear. As you receive these words, I want you to understand that this message is reaching far beyond your own life. Every heart that hears my voice through this channel is another soul being reminded that it is loved, seen, and never forgotten. If today you feel my spirit stirring you to become part of that mission, obey it at gentle invitation. Sow your support through a super thanks, become a member, or use the PayPal donation link provided in the video description and the QR code shown in this video, and let your gift become a seed that carries my hope into countless weighing hearts. Remember my living promise: whoever sows generously will also reap generously, and receive those words as me speaking directly to you today. When you give with love, you are helping my light reach someone who have been praying for a sign just like this one. Say within your heart, Father, I want to help carry your message wherever you lead. Do not delay the prompting I place within you, because every act of obedience becomes part of a harvest that only eternity can fully reveal. I bless every willing hand that gives with faith, and I will strengthen, provide for, and encourage those who trust me with generous hearts. Let your offering become a testimony that my love continues to flow like a river through willing vessels. Rise now, act in faith, and become part of the work I am doing in the lives of my beloved children. My beloved child, I have seen the quiet moments when you looked at someone else's life and wondered why your own journey seemed so different. You celebrated their victories with a smile, yet deep inside your heart, a question lingered. You asked, Father, why does it seem so easy for them while I continue to wait? Why have they reached places that I have only prayed about? Why does my path feel longer, steeper, and more uncertain? I understand those thoughts because I know the longing behind them. But today I want to free your heart from a burden that has quietly stolen your joy for far too long. Stop measuring yourself against others, because I never created you to live someone else's story. From the very beginning, I formed you with intention. Before anyone knew your name, I already knew every gift I would place within you. I knew the dreams that would awaken your heart, the challenges that would strengthen your character, and the purpose that would unfold throughout your life. I did not create you as a copy of another person. I created you as my unique masterpiece. Every detail of your life has been woven together with wisdom that reaches far beyond what you can presently understand. Comparison has a deceptive voice. It encourages you to focus on what others possess while ignoring the blessings already growing within your own life. It tells you that because someone else has received something first, there will not be enough left for you. It whispers that another person's success somehow diminishes your own future. But my beloved child, my blessings are not limited. I do not have only one opportunity to give. I do not run out of favor, wisdom, provision, or love. When I bless another person, I am not taking anything away from you. I am simply continuing my work in a different life while faithfully preparing the next chapter of yours. Imagine walking through a beautiful garden. Every flower blooms according to its own season. The rose does not compete with the lily. The sunflower does not envy the oak tree because it grows differently. Each one fulfills the purpose I gave it. If a flower spent all its time wishing it looked like another, it would fail to become everything I designed it to be. In the same way, I have planted you exactly where you are meant to grow. Your season may not look like someone else's, but that does not make it any less beautiful or significant. There are things I am teaching you that cannot be learned through comparison. Every challenge you have faced has developed compassion within you. Every delay has deepened your patience. Every disappointment has increased your dependence upon me. These qualities may not always be celebrated by the world, but they are treasures in my eyes. I am preparing you not merely for success as the world defines it, but for a life that reflects my heart, my wisdom, and my peace. I know how easily your eyes are drawn toward what others display. You see their accomplishments, their joyful moments, and the blessings they choose to share. Yet you rarely see the prayers they prayed through tears, the battles they fought in secret, or the sacrifices they made along the way. Every person carries a story that cannot be understood by looking only at the surface. That is why comparison is built upon incomplete understanding. You cannot measure your journey against a story whose deepest chapters you have never read. My beloved child, when you constantly compare yourself with others, you begin overlooking the miracles already taking place in your own life. Have you forgotten how far I have brought you? There was a time when you prayed for the strength you now possess. There were seasons when you longed for the peace that has quietly begun to settle within your heart. There were victories that seemed impossible until I carried you through them. Do not overlook today's blessings because your eyes remain fixed on someone else's tomorrow. Instead of asking why another person has something you do not yet have, begin asking me what I am developing within you today. Every season carries a gift. Some seasons teach endurance. Others reveal purpose. Some bring unexpected opportunities, while others strengthen your faith through quiet waiting. None of them are wasted when your hand remains in mine. Remember that I am not measuring your life by the standards of the world. I am not asking whether you have achieved more than someone else. I am looking at your heart. I delight in every act of kindness, every quiet prayer, every step of obedience, and every moment you choose faith over fear. Those are the victories that echo throughout eternity. Those are the treasures that no comparison can ever diminish. So release the burden of trying to keep pace with everyone around you. Their path is not your assignment. Their calling is not your purpose. I have written a story that belongs to you alone, and it will unfold exactly as I have planned. Walk confidently in the direction I have set before you, even if others cannot yet understand it. Trust that I know the perfect timing for every blessing, every opportunity, and every answered prayer. Lift your eyes from the lives around you and fix them upon me. When you do, you will discover a freedom that comparison could never offer. You will begin celebrating others without questioning your own worth. You will find contentment without giving up hope. You will walk with quiet confidence, knowing that the one who created the stars also created you with extraordinary purpose. My beloved child, your value has never depended on being ahead of someone else. It has always rested in the unchanging truth that you are deeply loved by me. Keep walking your path with faith, because I am leading you toward a future designed especially for you, and nothing meant for your life will ever be lost by waiting for my perfect time. My beloved child, I know there are parts of yourself that you try to hide, even from me. You notice your shortcomings, your moments of doubt, your failures, and the places where you feel you are not enough. You have looked at your own limitations and quietly wondered if they disqualify you from the beautiful future I have promised. Sometimes you believe that if you were stronger, wiser, more confident, or more capable, then I could use your life in greater ways. But I want you to hear my heart today. Your weakness does not scare me. It never has, and it never will. I knew everything about you before you took your first breath. I knew every strength you would discover, and I knew every struggle you would face. I knew the moments when your faith would feel unshakable, and I knew the days when your heart would feel fragile. Yet with complete knowledge of all these things, I still chose you. I still called you my beloved child. I still placed purpose within your life. Nothing you have discovered about yourself has surprised me, because I have always known you completely, and I have always loved you completely. The world often teaches that worth must be earned through perfection. It tells you that mistakes make you less valuable, that weakness is something to be hidden, and that vulnerability is a sign of failure. But my kingdom does not operate by those rules. I do not measure your value by flawless performance. I measure it by the love with which I created you. You were never precious to me because of what you could accomplish. You are precious because you are mine. Think of a cracked clay jar resting in the hands of a skilled potter. To someone else, the cracks may seem like a reason to throw it away, but the potter does not see only the damage. He sees what the vessel can become through patient restoration. He understands every mark because his own hands shaped it. In the same way, I know every crack in your heart, every place where disappointment has left its mark, every fear that has weakened your confidence, and every failure that still tries to define you. Yet I do not throw you aside. I continue shaping you with tenderness, wisdom, and unwavering love. There have been times when you compared your abilities to those of others and concluded that you had little to offer. You looked at people who appeared stronger, more gifted, or more confident, and you quietly stepped back, believing your role was insignificant. But my beloved child, I have never needed perfect people to accomplish perfect purposes. Throughout every generation, I have worked through ordinary hearts willing to trust me. What the world calls weakness often becomes the very place where my strength shines most clearly. When you come to the end of your own strength, you make room for mine. When you admit that you cannot carry every burden alone, you open your hands to receive my help. Dependence upon me is not failure. It is wisdom. It is the place where pride gives way to trust and where striving is replaced by peace. You do not have to prove yourself before approaching me. You only need to come honestly, bringing your whole heart just as it is. Perhaps there are mistakes from your past that still whisper accusations against you. They remind you of words you wish you had never spoken, opportunities you believe you wasted, or decisions you regret. My beloved child, I have already seen those moments, and my love remained constant through every one of them. I am not asking you to pretend they never happened. I am inviting you to let me redeem them. I have the power to bring wisdom out of failure, compassion out of pain, and new beginnings out of broken endings. Do not believe the lie that you must wait until you feel completely strong before you can fulfill your purpose. Strength does not always arrive before obedience. Often it grows because of obedience. Every small step of faith you take while relying on me becomes another opportunity for my power to work through your life. The courage you seek is often discovered not before you move, but as you continue walking with my hand in yours. There will be days when you still feel uncertain. There will be moments when you question whether you are capable of what lies ahead. When those thoughts come, remember this truth. I never called you to rely only on your own ability. I called you to rely on my presence. My wisdom is greater than your confusion. My strength is greater than your weakness. My peace is greater than your anxiety. What you lack, I am fully able to supply. So stop hiding the places where you feel inadequate. Bring them into my light. Let me remind you that your weakness is not the end of your story. It is often the beginning of a deeper relationship with me. It is where you learn that my grace is sufficient, not because you have become perfect, but because my love has remained perfect toward you. Walk forward today with renewed confidence, my beloved child. Do not wait until you feel fearless to obey my voice. Do not wait until every doubt disappears before trusting my promises. Simply place your hand in mine and take the next step. I will strengthen you as you walk. I will teach you what you need to know. I will carry you when you grow tired. And one day, you will look back and realize that what you once called weakness became the very place where my faithfulness was revealed most beautifully in your life. You have never been beyond my reach, and you have never been beyond my ability to transform, restore, and use for my glorious purpose. My beloved child, there are people I have appointed to walk beside you, even though you have not met all of them yet. Just as I have been preparing your heart through every season you have endured, I have also been preparing hearts that will one day intersect with yours. You may think your journey has been shaped only by your own decisions, but I have been quietly arranging meetings, conversations, friendships, and opportunities that will unfold at exactly the right time. Nothing about these moments will be accidental. What seems like an ordinary encounter to human eyes is often part of my extraordinary plan. I know there have been seasons when you felt deeply alone. You looked around and wondered why certain people walk away. You questioned why relationships that once meant so much suddenly came to an end. Some departures left you confused. Others left wounds that took years to begin healing. There were moments when you begged me to restore what had been lost, believing that if only those people returned, everything would finally feel whole again. But my beloved child, not every goodbye was meant to become another hello. Some people left because their assignment in your life had reached its conclusion, while others departed because they could not follow you into the future I had prepared. Do not mistake every ending for a failure. Some endings are acts of my mercy. A gardener lovingly prunes branches, not because he dislikes the tree, but because he desires healthier growth. The branches that are removed make room for stronger ones to flourish. In the same way, I have lovingly removed certain relationships from your life because they were no longer producing the fruit I desired for you. What felt like loss was often protection. What appeared to be rejection was sometimes redirection towards something far greater. There were voices around you that constantly fed your fears instead of your faith. There were people who unintentionally encouraged you to settle when I was calling you higher. Others misunderstood your heart because they could only see your present circumstances, not the purpose I had placed within you. I did not remove them to punish you. I removed them to create space for those who would encourage your growth, strengthen your faith, and remind you of your true identity. Imagine a river flowing toward the sea. Along its journey, many streams join it for a time. Some remain only briefly before flowing in another direction. Others continue alongside it for many miles. The river does not stop moving simply because one stream changes course. It continues toward the destination for which it was created. My beloved child, your life is much like that river. Some people are part of only one chapter, while others will walk beside you for much longer. Do not become so attached to temporary companions that you miss those I am sending for your next season. Even now, I am preparing divine connections that will encourage your soul in ways you cannot yet imagine. There are friendships that will bring peace instead of confusion. There are mentors who will speak wisdom into your life at just the right moment. There are people whose faith will strengthen your own, whose kindness will remind you of my love, and whose presence will help you become everything I created you to be. These connections are not based on coincidence. They are woven together by my faithful hands. But before these relationships fully blossom, I have also been preparing you. Healthy relationships require a healthy heart. If I brought every blessing into your life before healing the wounds of your past, you might unknowingly carry fear, distrust, or insecurity into what I intended to be a place of peace. That is why I have been teaching you forgiveness. That is why I have been restoring your confidence. That is why I have been reminding you that your identity is found in my love before it is ever reflected in the acceptance of others. Do not rush relationships simply because you fear loneliness. Loneliness is not healed by surrounding yourself with the wrong people. True companionship comes through connections built upon truth, honor, kindness, and shared purpose. Trust that I know exactly who belongs in your life and exactly when they should arrive. I am never late in bringing the right people together. At the same time, I want you to become the kind of person others can safely trust. Speak words that give life. Offer grace freely. Listen with compassion. Encourage those who are weary. Let your heart reflect the love I have continually poured into you. As you become a source of peace for others, you will naturally recognize those who carry the same spirit. Healthy relationships grow where love, humility, and truth are welcomed. There may still be moments when memories of past betrayals try to make you close your heart again. Fear will whisper that trusting people is too dangerous. But I do not want your future to be imprisoned by yesterday's disappointments. Learn from your experiences, but do not allow them to harden your heart. Wisdom builds healthy boundaries, yet love remains willing to welcome the people I send. My beloved child, I am already at work beyond what you can see. Somewhere, someone is praying for a friend like you. Somewhere, a conversation is being prepared that will change the direction of your life. Somewhere, a door is opening that will introduce you to people who will celebrate your calling instead of competing with it. Continue walking faithfully with me, and I will guide every step. Trust my timing. Trust my wisdom. Trust the relationships I remove, and trust the ones I establish. Every connection ordained by my hand will arrive with peace, purpose, and blessing. You do not have to chase what I have already appointed. Walk forward with confidence, my beloved child, because the people I have prepared for your life will recognize the light I have placed within you, and together you will accomplish far more than you ever could alone. My beloved child, I know there are things you have been holding onto for so long that they have begun to feel like a part of who you are. You have carried painful memories, harsh words, broken trust, and deep disappointments through season after season. Though you have continued moving forward, your heart has often looked backward. You have replayed moments that wounded you, wondering how things could have been different. You have asked questions that never receive answers. You have searched for closure that never came. But today, I am gently calling you into a new kind of freedom. It is time to let go of what keeps hurting you. I do not ask you to let go because your pain is unimportant. I know every tear you have cried. I know every promise that was broken, every betrayal that left a scar, every goodbye that shattered your expectations, and every dream that slipped through your fingers. I was with you through every one of those moments. I did not turn away when your heart was breaking. I remained beside you, even when you could not feel my presence. My invitation to let go is not an invitation to deny what happened. It is an invitation to stop allowing yesterday's wounds to continue stealing today's peace. Pain has a way of convincing you that if you keep holding onto it, you will somehow protect yourself from being hurt again. It whispers that if you never forgive, you will remain safe. It tells you that if you keep replaying the past, you will eventually discover the answer that makes everything make sense. But my beloved child, the past cannot be changed by carrying it longer. The chains of yesterday are not broken by holding them tighter. They are broken when you place them into my hands and trust me with what you cannot repair. Imagine someone walking a long road while dragging a heavy chain behind them. At first, they become accustomed to the weight. They learn how to move despite the burden. Eventually, they stop questioning whether the chain belongs there at all. Yet every step becomes harder than it was meant to be. Progress is slower. Joy becomes more difficult to find. My beloved child, many people live this way with unforgiveness, resentment, regret, or shame. They adapt to the burden instead of realizing I have already offered freedom from it. Perhaps there is someone who wounded you deeply. They spoke words that pierced your heart. They betrayed your trust when you needed them most. They left without apology or explanation. Every time you remember what happened, the pain rises again as though it happened yesterday. I understand that hurt. I do not minimize it. But I ask you to remember this. Forgiveness is not saying that what they did was acceptable. Forgiveness is choosing to release your right to carry the burden of revenge and placing justice into my hands. I see what others have done. Nothing escapes my sight, and nothing is beyond my ability to judge with perfect righteousness. There may also be someone you have struggled to forgive more than anyone else. Yourself. You revisit your own mistakes again and again. You wonder what your life would look like if only you had chosen differently. You blame yourself for opportunities that slipped away or relationships that ended. My beloved child, if I have already extended my mercy toward you, why do you continue withholding mercy from yourself? Learn from your past, but do not live there. I redeemed you so that your future would not remain chained to your former failures. Holding on to regret will never create a better tomorrow. Holding on to anger will never heal your heart. Holding on to shame will never reveal your true identity. Those burdens only cloud your vision and make it difficult to recognize the beautiful things I am placing before you. I have new blessings to give you, but your hands must be open to receive them. Hands tightly clenched around yesterday cannot fully embrace what I am offering today. There is a river that flows from my heart, carrying grace, restoration, and peace. When you step into that river, it begins washing away the dust of old disappointments. It does not erase your memories, but it changes how those memories shape you. Instead of becoming reminders of endless pain, they become reminders of my faithfulness. You begin to see not only what was lost, but also how I sustained you through every difficult season. You recognize that even in your darkest moments, I never stopped walking beside you. Letting go is not a single moment. Sometimes it is a daily decision. Each morning you may need to place the same hurt into my hands again until your heart fully learns to trust my healing. Do not become discouraged if the process takes time. Healing often unfolds one faithful step at a time. Every act of surrender weakens the grip of the past and strengthens the peace I am growing within you. My beloved child, I have so much more ahead of you than what lies behind you. I have new joy waiting where sorrow once lived. I have fresh hope ready to replace old despair. I have relationships that will encourage your heart, opportunities that will renew your purpose, and moments that will remind you that my plans have never failed. But to walk freely into that future, you must release what continually pulls you backward. So come to me today with every wound, every disappointment, every regret, and every burden that still lingers within your heart. Lay them at my feet without fear. I will not reject you. I will not grow weary of carrying what has become too heavy for you. My love is greater than your deepest hurt. My grace is stronger than your greatest regret, and my peace is able to reach places within your soul that no one else can touch. Let go of what keeps hurting you, my beloved child, and take my hand. The path ahead is filled with healing, freedom, and hope, and I will walk every step of it with you. My beloved child, there have been tears that no one has ever seen. There were nights when you quietly turned your face toward the pillow so no one would hear you cry. There were moments when your heart became so overwhelmed that words could no longer express what you were feeling. You simply sat in silence, carrying an ache too deep for conversation. Others may have believed you were doing well because your smile remained on your face, but I saw what was hidden behind it. I was there for every tear that slipped down your cheek, every sigh that escaped your lips, and every prayer that was spoken without words. Not one of those moments has ever been forgotten by me. The world often overlooks silent suffering. People tend to notice visible victories more than invisible battles. They celebrate achievements, but rarely see the quiet endurance that made those achievements possible. Yet I see everything. I notice the tears you quickly wipe away before anyone enters the room. I hear the trembling in your voice that others overlook. I understand the weight you carry even when you insist that everything is fine. My beloved child, nothing about your pain has ever escaped my attention. You may have wondered if your tears accomplished anything. You may have questioned whether they simply disappeared into the darkness, unnoticed and unanswered. But I want you to know that every tear has been precious to me. Every tear has told a story that I have carefully listened to. Some tears came from grief. Others came from disappointment. Some flowed because of loneliness, while others came from longing for answers that seemed delayed. I understood every reason, even when you could not explain it yourself. Imagine a loving father sitting beside his child after a difficult day. The child is unable to speak because emotions have become too overwhelming. Instead of demanding explanations, the father gently places an arm around the child and simply remains there. His presence becomes the answer before any words are spoken. My beloved child, that is how I have been with you. There were moments when my greatest gift was not an immediate solution, but my faithful presence. Even when you could not feel me, I never left your side. Do not believe the lie that tears are a sign of weakness. Tears often reveal a heart that still knows how to hope, still knows how to love, and still turns toward me instead of becoming completely hardened. There is strength in allowing your heart to remain tender. There is courage in bringing your brokenness into my presence rather than hiding it behind false confidence. I have never asked you to pretend you are stronger than you truly are. I have only asked you to trust that my strength is sufficient for every place where yours feels exhausted. There are tears you cried over dreams that seemed lost. You mourned opportunities that slipped away and relationships that came to unexpected endings. You grieved the future you imagined because reality unfolded differently than you expected. I understand those disappointments. I know how deeply you invested your heart. But my beloved child, what feels like a final ending to you is often the place where I begin writing a new chapter. The tears you shed over closed doors have watered the ground where new beginnings are already taking root. There were also tears of repentance, moments when you came before me feeling unworthy, carrying the weight of mistakes you wished you could erase. Hear me clearly today. My mercy has always been greater than your failures. I have never loved you less because you stumbled. My forgiveness is not reluctant. It flows freely from my heart toward every child who comes to me with sincerity. Do not continue punishing yourself for what I have already forgiven. Let my grace bring healing where guilt has tried to build its home. Some of your tears came from waiting. You wondered why prayers remained unanswered. You questioned whether your faith was enough. You looked toward heaven and whispered, "Father, are you listening?" My beloved child, I was listening every moment. Silence was never the same as absence. While you waited, I was preparing answers that required perfect timing. While you cried, I was strengthening your heart so that when the answer arrived, you would be ready to receive it with wisdom and gratitude. There is something beautiful that happens when tears are placed into my hands. They become seeds instead of endings. Just as rain softens the ground before new life begins to grow, your tears have softened places within your heart where my love is now bringing restoration. What once seemed like endless sorrow is becoming fertile ground for compassion, wisdom, patience, and unshakable faith. One day, you will comfort others because you will understand their pain in a way that only someone who has walked through deep valleys can. My beloved child, do not be ashamed of the tears you have cried. They do not tell the story of defeat. They tell the story of perseverance. They reveal that despite every disappointment, your heart continued reaching toward hope. Despite every unanswered question, you continued searching for me. Despite every difficult season, you did not completely give up. And through every one of those moments, I remained faithful. The day is coming when many of the tears you have cried will be replaced with songs of gratitude. You will look back and recognize how I carried you through nights you believed would never end. You will see how every sorrow became part of a greater testimony. You will understand that I never wasted your pain, never ignored your prayers, and never forgot your cries. Every tear has been counted, my beloved child. Everyone has been held with perfect love. And now, as you continue walking with me, let hope rise once more, because the same hands that caught your tears are also preparing the joy that will one day overflow from your heart. My beloved child, I know there are parts of your life that seem beyond repair. There are dreams that shattered so completely you no longer remember what they once looked like. There are relationships that ended with words left unsaid, hopes that faded beneath a weight of disappointment, and pieces of your heart that still feel scattered across seasons of pain. You have looked at the broken places and quietly wondered if they will always remain that way. But today I want you to hear my voice above every doubt. I am rebuilding what was broken, and my work is always greater than the damage life has done. When something precious breaks, the world often believes it has lost its value. It is thrown away, replaced, or forgotten. But I do not treat my beloved children that way. I do not look at brokenness and see something worthless. I look at it and see an opportunity for my restoring love to reveal its power. I have never abandoned what my hands have created. If I formed you with purpose, I will also restore you with purpose. Think of an old house that has stood through countless storms. Over the years, cracks appear in the walls. The roof begins to leak. The foundation shows signs of wear. To someone passing by, it may seem easier to tear the house down than to restore it. But a wise builder looks beyond the visible damage. He sees the strength that still remains beneath the surface. He carefully removes what has become weak, reinforces the foundation, and rebuilds each part with greater care than before. When the work is finished, the house stands stronger than it ever did in its earlier days. My beloved child, I am that wise builder, and your life is precious in my sight. I am not patching your wounds for a short season. I am rebuilding you with a strength that will endure. There are things I have allowed to fall apart because they were built upon foundations that could not sustain the future I prepared for you. I know that truth may be difficult to accept. You prayed for certain plans to succeed. You hoped particular relationships would last forever. You invested your heart in opportunities that seemed perfect. Yet when they crumbled, you believed everything had been lost. What you could not see was that I was protecting you from building your entire future upon something unable to carry the weight of your calling. Do not mistake reconstruction for abandonment. Before a builder restores a house, some walls must first come down. Dust fills the air. The process appears messy and uncertain. Anyone watching from the outside may believe the building is being destroyed. Yet every careful removal creates space for something stronger to rise. In the same way, there have been seasons when your life felt as though it was falling apart. But what looked like destruction was often the beginning of restoration. I was removing what could not remain so that what truly belonged would stand securely. Perhaps your confidence was broken by repeated disappointment. You began doubting your own ability to move forward. Every setback seemed to confirm the fear that you would never recover. My beloved child, your confidence was never meant to rest upon circumstances alone. I am rebuilding it upon the unchanging truth of my presence. Circumstances will continue to change, but my faithfulness never will. When your confidence is rooted in me, no storm can completely destroy it. Perhaps your trust was broken because someone you loved failed you. They made promises they did not keep. They left wounds where you expected security. Now your heart hesitates to believe again. I understand that pain. I do not rush your healing, but I also do not want fear to become the architect of your future. As I restore your heart, I will teach you to trust wisely without allowing yesterday's betrayals to imprison tomorrow's relationships. I am also rebuilding dreams that you believed had died. Some dreams will return in ways that look familiar. Others will be transformed into something even more beautiful than you first imagined. Remember that I am not limited by what has been lost. I am the Creator who brings life where others see only endings. What appears impossible through human eyes is completely possible in my hands. As I rebuild your life, do not become discouraged by the pace of the process. Strong foundations are not established overnight. Every lesson you learn, every act of forgiveness you choose, every step of obedience you take, and every prayer you whisper becomes another stone carefully placed into the future I am constructing. Nothing is wasted. Even the painful seasons are becoming part of the strength that will support what is yet to come. There will come a day when you look back at the season with gratitude instead of grief. You will see that the broken places became the very places where my light entered most deeply. You will recognize that the delays strengthened your patience, the disappointments deepened your compassion, and the hardships refined your faith. What once appeared to be ruins will become evidence of my restoring power. So do not lose heart, my beloved child. Do not define your future by the brokenness you currently see. Lift your eyes toward me and trust the hands that are carefully rebuilding every part of your life. I am restoring your joy where sorrow lingered. I am rebuilding your hope where despair once settled. I am strengthening your spirit where weakness tried to remain. Brick by brick, promise by promise, day by day, I am creating something far more beautiful than what was lost. Walk forward without fear. The builder of your life has never abandoned the work of his hands. I am rebuilding what was broken, and when my work is complete, you will stand with greater wisdom, deeper peace, stronger faith, and a heart that shines with the testimony of my unfailing love. The beauty of what lies ahead will not erase your past, but it will reveal that my grace has always been greater than every broken piece you placed into my hands. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when your pain seemed larger than your purpose. The weight of disappointment, loss, rejection, and unanswered questions has sometimes been so heavy that it became difficult for you to see beyond the present moment. You wondered if your struggles had somehow erased the beautiful plans I once placed within your heart. You questioned whether your failures had disqualified you or whether your brokenness had become too great for me to use. But today I want you to hear this truth with complete confidence. Your purpose is greater than your pain because I am greater than both. Before you experienced your first disappointment, I already knew every challenge you would face. Before anyone spoke words that wounded your heart, I had already spoken words of life over you. Before you walked through valleys of uncertainty, I had already prepared the mountains you would one day climb. Nothing that has happened in your life has surprised me, and nothing has been powerful enough to cancel the purpose I lovingly designed for you before you were born. Pain has a way of narrowing your vision. It convinces you that today is all there will ever be. It whispers that because this season has been difficult, every season ahead will carry the same sorrow. But pain cannot see what I see. Pain only understands the present moment. I see your entire journey. I see the person you are becoming. I see the lives your story will one day encourage. I see the hope that will rise from places where you once believed only despair could grow. Think of a sculptor standing before a block of stone. To everyone else, it appears ordinary, rough, and without beauty. Yet the sculptor already sees the masterpiece hidden within. Every careful strike of the chisel removes what does not belong until the beauty inside begins to appear. If the stone could speak, it might only understand the discomfort of being shaped. It would not yet recognize the purpose behind every strike. My beloved child, there have been seasons when life felt like that chisel. Challenges came one after another, and you wondered why so much had to be removed. But I have never been destroying you. I have been revealing the person I created you to become. Do not misunderstand me. I do not delight in your suffering. My heart is moved by every tear you have cried. I have walked beside you through every heartbreak, every lonely night, every unanswered prayer, and every difficult decision. Yet because I am able to bring beauty from ashes, I refuse to allow your pain to have the final word. What the enemy intended to use to discourage you, I am transforming into something that will strengthen both you and those who hear your story. There are people you have never met who will one day find hope because you chose not to give up. There are hearts that will recognize my faithfulness because they see it reflected in your journey. Your testimony is being written even now. It is not only being written in moments of celebration, but also in moments of perseverance. Every time you choose faith instead of fear, every time you forgive instead of becoming bitter, every time you rise after falling, another line is added to the story of my grace within your life. Perhaps you have asked, Father, why couldn't you simply remove the pain? Sometimes I do remove it quickly. At other times, I walk with you through it because there are treasures that can only be discovered along the journey. Compassion grows in hearts that have known sorrow. Patience develops in seasons of weighing. Wisdom often emerges from difficult choices. Deep trust is formed when you continue holding my hand despite not understanding the path ahead. These gifts remain with you long after the pain has passed. Remember the seed that is planted beneath the soil. It must first break open before new life can emerge. From the outside, that breaking appears like loss. Yet without it, growth would never begin. In the same way, there have been moments when parts of your old life had to break so that the new life I prepared could begin to grow. What seemed like an ending was quietly becoming a beginning. My beloved child, do not define yourself by the chapters that hurt the most. You are not the rejection you experienced. You are not the betrayal you endured. You are not the mistake you regret. You are not the failure that still tries to haunt your memory. Those events are part of your story, but they are not your identity. Your identity is found in my love, my calling, and my purpose for your life. No painful chapter can rewrite what I have already declared over you. Even now, I am weaving together every experience, every lesson, every joy, and every sorrow into something meaningful. You may only see scattered pieces today, but I already see the completed masterpiece. Trust that my hands never lose control of the thread. I am connecting moments that seem unrelated. I am redeeming experiences that once appeared wasted. I am opening doors that your past could never have unlocked on its own. So when discouragement tries to convince you that your pain has been meaningless, remember my promise. I never waste what you place into my hands. Every tear has become part of your strength. Every delay has deepened your trust. Every challenge has prepared you for responsibilities you could not yet carry before. Your purpose has not been delayed beyond my reach. It has been refined by my wisdom. Lift your head, my beloved child, and keep walking forward with hope. Refuse to let pain become the loudest voice in your life. Listen instead to my gentle assurance. I am leading you toward a future where purpose shines brighter than every wound you have carried. One day you will look back and realize that the valley was never your destination. It was simply the place where your roots grew deeper, your faith became stronger, and your calling became clearer. Your purpose is greater than your pain, and because I am walking beside you, that purpose will unfold in ways more beautiful than you have ever imagined. My beloved child, there are many voices competing for your attention every single day. The world speaks loudly, urging you to move faster, achieve more, worry constantly, and measure your worth by what others think of you. Fear whispers that you are not enough. Doubt questions every promise I have spoken. Regret tries to pull your eyes toward yesterday, while anxiety attempts to force them into tomorrow. In the middle of all these voices, my voice remains steady, gentle, and filled with peace. I have never needed to shout to reach your heart. I simply ask that you become still enough to recognize the sound of my love. I know your life has been busy. Responsibilities demand your attention from the moment you awaken until the day comes to an end. There are decisions to make, problems to solve, people to care for, and expectations to meet. Your mind has become so accustomed to constant movement that silence sometimes feels unfamiliar. Yet many of my deepest conversations with you happen in quiet moments when the noise begins to settle and your heart becomes willing to listen. Do not mistake gentleness for weakness. A rushing wind may capture your attention for a moment, but it is often the quiet stream that continually nourishes the land. My voice carries the same quiet strength. It does not pressure you with fear. It does not condemn you with shame. It does not confuse you with contradiction. My voice brings clarity where there has been confusion. It brings hope where discouragement has taken root. It brings peace that remains even when circumstances have not yet changed. Think of a shepherd walking with his flock across open fields. Many sounds surround the sheep. The wind moves through the grass. Birds sing from the trees. Other shepherds call to their own flocks. Yet each sheep learns to recognize the voice of the shepherd who has faithfully cared for them. They do not follow a stranger because they know the sound of the one who loves them. My beloved child, I desire for you to know my voice with that same confidence. The more time you spend with me, the more easily you will recognize my guidance, even when many other voices compete for your attention. There have been times when you asked me for direction, but then hurried ahead before giving yourself the opportunity to listen. You wanted immediate answers because uncertainty felt uncomfortable. I understand that longing, but wisdom often grows in waiting. Some answers come quickly, while others unfold one faithful step at a time. Do not become discouraged if I do not reveal the entire path at once. A lamp does not illuminate the entire journey. It provides enough light for the next step, and that is often how I choose to guide you. Sometimes you wonder how to recognize whether a thought comes from me. Remember my character. I will never lead you away from love, truth, humility, compassion, or peace. My guidance may challenge you to grow, but it will never manipulate you through fear or hopelessness. Even when I correct you, my correction is filled with grace because my desire is restoration, not condemnation. The enemy accuses. I restore. Fear rushes. I lead with peace. Confusion scatters your thoughts. My wisdom brings quiet confidence. There are moments when my answer is simply, wait. I know waiting is not always the answer you hope to hear. Yet my delays are never empty. While you wait, I continue preparing circumstances you cannot yet see. I continue shaping your heart. I continue opening and closing doors according to my perfect wisdom. Waiting with me is never wasted time. It is sacred ground where trust becomes deeper than understanding. My beloved child, I also speak through the quiet reminders I place within your heart. I remind you of my faithfulness when fear begins to rise. I bring peace into your spirit when anxiety tries to take control. I gently encourage you to show kindness when resentment seems easier. These moments may appear small, but they are evidence that I am continually guiding your life. My presence is not reserved only for extraordinary moments. I walk with you through ordinary days, ordinary conversations, and ordinary decisions, filling them with extraordinary purpose. Do not allow disappointment to convince you that I have become silent. There are seasons when I speak through open doors and clear opportunities. There are other seasons when I speak through stillness, inviting you to trust my heart even when you cannot yet hear every answer. Silence does not mean I have left you. Often it means I am teaching you to rest in my presence instead of depending only upon visible signs. Create room within your heart for stillness. Begin each day by inviting me into your thoughts. Pause throughout your day to remember that I am near. When your mind becomes overwhelmed, return to my promises instead of your fears. Let gratitude become a doorway through which my peace enters your heart. The more you seek my presence, the more familiar my voice will become. Do not be afraid of making every decision perfectly. I am a loving Father, not a distant judge waiting for you to fail. When your desire is to walk with me sincerely, I am faithful to guide your steps. Even if you take a wrong turn, my grace is greater than your mistakes. I know how to redirect every path and redeem every season. So be still for a moment, my beloved child. Breathe deeply and quiet the noise around you. Let the fears of yesterday grow silent. Let the worries of tomorrow lose their power. Listen beneath every distraction, and you will hear my gentle voice calling your name with love. I have been speaking to you all along. I am leading you with wisdom, surrounding you with peace, and guiding you toward the future I have prepared. Trust the sound of my voice, for it will never lead you away from my love, and it will always bring you safely home. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when you wanted to stop, not because you no longer believed in me, but because you had grown tired of carrying the weight of waiting. You have fought battles that no one else fully understands. You have prayed prayers that seemed to echo into silence. You have taken step after step, hoping each one would lead to the answer you longed for, only to find yourself wondering how much farther you could go. I have seen your weary heart, and today I want to speak strength into your spirit. Do not quit before the breakthrough. You are closer than you realize. The greatest temptation often comes just before the greatest victory. When the night feels longest, dawn is already approaching. When the soil appears lifeless, the seed beneath it is often preparing to break through the surface. Because you cannot yet see what is happening, it becomes easy to believe that nothing is changing. But my beloved child, I have never stopped working. Even when your eyes see stillness, my hands remain active. Even when your heart feels discouraged, my plans continue moving forward with perfect precision. Think of a miner searching for precious treasure deep beneath the earth. Day after day, he strikes the rock with his tools. The work is exhausting. Dust fills the air, and there are no visible signs of success. He could easily conclude that his efforts have been wasted, yet what he cannot see is that every strike is weakening the stone. The breakthrough is not created by one final blow alone. It is the result of every faithful effort that came before it. If he walks away too soon, he leaves behind the treasure that was only moments from being revealed. My beloved child, your prayers have not been wasted. Your acts of faith have not disappeared into emptiness. Every time you trusted me instead of surrendering to fear, another foundation was laid beneath your future. Every moment you chose kindness instead of bitterness, hope instead of despair, and obedience instead of discouragement, something eternal was taking place. You may not always see immediate results, but heaven never overlooks faithful hearts. There have been times when disappointment whispered that you should lower your expectations. It told you not to dream so boldly because hope only leads to heartbreak. It encouraged you to settle for less than what I placed within your heart. But I did not create you to live a life ruled by disappointment. I created you to walk by faith, trusting that my promises are stronger than temporary setbacks. The enemy wants you to believe that delay means defeat. I want you to remember that delay often means preparation. Do you remember how many times I have carried you farther than you thought possible? There were seasons when you believed your strength had completely run out, yet somehow you continued moving forward. That was not because you suddenly became stronger on your own. It was because my strength was quietly sustaining you. I have been your refuge in every storm, your peace in every uncertainty, and your hope in every dark valley. If I have faithfully brought you this far, I will not abandon you before the finish. There are blessings already moving toward you that you cannot yet see. Doors are being prepared. Hearts are being softened. Opportunities are developing beyond your awareness. Conversations are unfolding that will eventually intersect with your journey. Just because these things remain hidden today does not mean they are not real. I am arranging details that only I can see. Trust that my timing is always guided by perfect wisdom, not by human impatience. Do not allow temporary exhaustion to become a permanent decision. Rest when you need to rest, but do not give up. Pause if your heart feels weary, but do not turn back. Even the strongest travelers sometimes need to stop and regain their strength before continuing the journey. There is no shame in resting within my presence. The danger comes only when you mistake a season of weariness for the end of your calling. Your purpose has not disappeared simply because the road has become difficult. I want you to look beyond the present struggle and remember who walks beside you. You are not climbing this mountain alone. You are not facing this battle with only your own strength. My hand remains firmly around yours. When your faith feels small, my faithfulness remains great. When your vision becomes clouded, my sight remains clear. I already know the place where your breakthrough awaits, and I am leading you toward it step by step. Sometimes the breakthrough you are seeking begins inside your heart before it appears in your circumstances. Peace arrives before the problem is solved. Joy begins returning before the answer becomes visible. Confidence grows while the path is still unfolding. This is my way of reminding you that my greatest gift is not simply changing your surroundings. It is transforming you from within so that no matter what lies ahead, you remain rooted in my love. So hold on a little longer, my beloved child. Lift your eyes above today's discouragement and fix them upon my promises. Refuse to let weariness convince you that your journey has been in vain. The breakthrough I have prepared is not only about what you will receive, it is also about who you are becoming. Every prayer, every tear, every act of perseverance had been shaping a heart that reflects my strength and my peace. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep believing even when the path ahead seems quiet. I am closer than your fears would have you believe. The dawn is nearer than the darkness suggests. The seed is nearer to breaking through than the soil reveals. Do not quit before the breakthrough, my beloved child, because I have never stopped working, and the story I am writing for your life is moving toward a future filled with hope, restoration, and the unmistakable evidence of my unfailing faithfulness. My beloved child, there comes a moment in every journey when you must stop reading your future through the pages of your past. I know there have been chapters in your life filled with disappointment, heartbreak, unanswered questions, and seasons that seemed to stretch far longer than you ever imagined. There were pages marked by loss, moments when you believed your story had reached its most painful conclusion. But I want you to hear me with all your heart today. I am writing a new chapter, and what lies ahead will not be defined by what lies behind. Do not believe the lie that your best days are already gone. The enemy delights in convincing you that because something beautiful ended, nothing beautiful can begin again. He points to your failures as if they were permanent. He points to your wounds as if they were your identity. He points to closed doors as though they were the end of every opportunity. But I am the author of your story, not your fears. I am the one holding the pen, and I have not finished writing. Imagine an artist standing before a canvas that appears ruined. Someone unfamiliar with the artist's vision may think the painting has been destroyed because of the dark colors spread across it. They cannot understand why those heavy strokes were added. Yet the artist continues painting with confidence, knowing that those darker shades will one day make the brighter colors shine with even greater beauty. My beloved child, there have been dark strokes upon the canvas of your life, but they were never the finished picture. I already see the masterpiece that is still unfolding. There are chapters you have read over and over in your mind. You revisit conversations that ended badly. You remember moments when your heart was broken. You replay mistakes you wish you could undo. Sometimes you become so focused on those pages that you forget to notice I have already turned them. I am not asking you to pretend those chapters never existed. They helped shape the wisdom, compassion, and strength you now carry. But they are no longer the place where your life remains. You cannot move into a new chapter while refusing to release the old one. I know change can feel uncomfortable. Even when the past was painful, it was familiar. The unknown can seem frightening because you cannot yet see what I have prepared. But remember this, my beloved child, every beautiful beginning once felt unfamiliar. Every answered prayer once looked impossible. Every blessing you now cherish was once hidden beyond the horizon of your understanding. Do not fear the new season simply because it has not yet become familiar to you. There are things I am placing into your life that require a fresh heart and a renewed mind. I am teaching you not to expect every new relationship to repeat the pain of the last one. I am teaching you not to assume every opportunity will end in disappointment. I am teaching you not to carry yesterday's fears into tomorrow's blessings. If you continue expecting the future to mirror the past, you may overlook the miracles I place directly before you. Think of the changing season. Winter does not remain forever. Trees that once stood bare eventually become covered with new leaves. Fields that seemed empty suddenly burst with life. The earth does not question whether spring will come. It simply responds when the appointed time arrives. In the same way, I have appointed new seasons for your life. The winter you endured was real, but it was never meant to last forever. Even now, the first signs of spring are beginning to appear, though they may still seem small. Perhaps the new chapter I am writing begins with healing where there was once pain. Perhaps it begins with peace replacing anxiety. Perhaps it begins with restored hope after years of discouragement. Or perhaps it begins with a quiet confidence that grows stronger every day as you learn to trust me more deeply. Do not underestimate small beginnings. A mighty tree begins as a tiny seed. A great river begins as a small stream. In the same way, the new chapter I am writing may begin with one simple act of faith, one surrendered prayer, or one courageous step forward. As this new chapter unfolds, you will notice that I have not only changed your circumstances, I have changed you. You will respond with greater wisdom where you once reacted in fear. You will choose forgiveness where bitterness once tempted you. You will walk with peace where anxiety once ruled your thoughts. This is the evidence that my work within you has been just as important as my work around you. Do not allow regret to keep pulling your eyes backward. Regret is a chain that tries to anchor you to places I have already called you to leave. Lift your eyes instead to the road ahead. Every sunrise is a reminder that I continue creating new beginnings. Every breath you take is evidence that my purpose for your life is still alive. Every step you take with me becomes another sentence in the beautiful story I am writing. So walk into this new chapter with expectation, my beloved child. Leave behind the belief that your greatest opportunities have passed. Refuse to let yesterday's disappointments define tomorrow's possibilities. Trust that my plans are unfolding with perfect wisdom and unwavering love. I am opening doors that fear could never unlock. I am restoring dreams that seemed forgotten. I am placing new songs where sorrow once echoed. Take my hand and move forward without hesitation. The old chapter has served its purpose, but it does not hold your future. I am writing a story filled with redemption, hope, peace, and purpose. Keep turning the pages with me, my beloved child, because the most beautiful parts of your journey are still waiting to be written, and I promise that this new chapter will reveal more of my faithfulness than you have ever imagined. My beloved child, if there is one truth I desire for you to carry in the deepest place of your heart, it is this: you are deeply loved, not because of what you have achieved, not because of how perfectly you have lived, not because you have never stumbled or questioned or struggled. You are deeply loved because you are mine. Before you accomplished anything, before anyone applauded you, before the world formed an opinion about you, my love had already surrounded your life. It has never depended on your performance, and it never will. There have been moments when you questioned your worth. Perhaps someone rejected you when you expected acceptance. Perhaps words spoken over you made you feel unseen, unwanted, or forgotten. Perhaps you measured yourself against impossible standards and concluded that you would never be enough. I know those moments. I was there when your heart quietly asked, "Am I truly valuable?" And today I answer with unwavering certainty, yes, my beloved child. Your value has never been determined by the opinions of others. It has always been established by the love with which I created you. The world often teaches that love must be earned. It tells you that you must become more successful, more attractive, more accomplished, or more admired before you deserve acceptance. That kind of love is fragile because it depends upon changing circumstances. But my love is not like that. My love remains steady when your emotions rise and fall. It remains faithful when others misunderstand you. It remains constant when you experience victory, and it remains constant when you experience failure. There has never been a single day when I loved you more, and there has never been a single day when I loved you less. Think of the sun shining over the earth. Clouds may temporarily hide its warmth from your eyes, but they never stop the sun from existing. In the same way, there have been seasons when pain, fear, disappointment, or doubt acted like clouds over your heart. You struggled to feel my love, and because you could not feel it, you wondered if it had disappeared. But my beloved child, my love has never been absent. It has remained as constant as the sunrise, even when the clouds made it difficult for you to see. I know you have tried to prove your worth in many different ways. Sometimes you worked harder than necessary because you believed your value depended on your achievements. Sometimes you exhausted yourself trying to please everyone around you, hoping their approval would quiet the insecurity within your heart. Other times you hid your true feelings because you feared rejection if people saw your weaknesses. But I never asked you to earn the love I freely give. I simply invited you to receive it. My love sees every part of you. It sees the joyful moments you celebrate and the painful memories you rarely share. It sees your strengths and your weaknesses, your courage and your fears, your confidence and your uncertainty. There is nothing you could reveal that would surprise me or cause me to turn away. I already know you completely, and I still delight in calling you my beloved child. Imagine a father watching his young child learn to draw. The picture may be imperfect, with uneven lines and colors outside the edges, but the father treasures it because it comes from the child he loves. He does not measure its value by perfection. He measures it by relationship. My beloved child, that is how I look at you. I am not standing over your life searching for reasons to withdraw my affection. I rejoice over every step you take toward me, every sincere prayer, every act of kindness, and every moment you trust me, even when your faith feels small. Do not confuse my loving correction with rejection. When I guide you away from harmful paths, it is because I desire your freedom, not your punishment. A loving father corrects because he cares deeply about the well-being of his child. Every time I redirect your steps, it is an expression of my love. Every closed door that protected you, every delay that strengthened you, and every lesson that matured your heart came from my desire to lead you into abundant life. There are people who may never fully understand your heart. There may be relationships that leave you feeling unseen. There may be seasons when loneliness tries to convince you that you are forgotten. When those moments come, return to this truth: my love is closer than your next breath. I am with you when no one else notices your tears. I am beside you when no one else hears your prayers. I celebrate your victories, comfort your sorrows, and remain faithful through every changing season. Do not allow the wounds of yesterday to define your understanding of love. Human love can disappoint because people are imperfect, but my love is perfect in its faithfulness. It does not abandon you when life becomes difficult. It does not grow weary of forgiving you. It does not become distant when you struggle. It remains steadfast through every chapter of your life. So rest your heart in my love today, my beloved child. Stop striving to earn what I have already freely given. Stop believing that your mistakes have made you less precious in my sight. Lift your eyes and receive the truth that has never changed. You are fully known, completely accepted, and deeply loved. Carry this truth into every new day. Let it shape how you see yourself, how you treat others, and how you face the future. When fear whispers that you are alone, remember my love surrounds you. When doubt questions your worth, remember my love defines you. When life becomes uncertain, remember my love remains unshaken. You are my beloved child, and nothing in all creation will ever separate you from the endless, faithful, and everlasting love I have for you. My beloved child, there are many things in this life that rest beyond the reach of your hands. You have tried to hold them together, fix them, predict them, and protect them. You have spent countless hours thinking about situations you could not change, conversations you could not rewrite, and outcomes you could not guarantee. Your heart has carried burdens that were never yours to carry. Today, I am gently inviting you to release what you cannot control and place it into the hands that have always been able to hold it securely. I know your desire to control does not come from selfishness. Most of the time, it comes from fear. You want to protect the people you love. You want to avoid unnecessary pain. You want certainty in a world that often feels uncertain. You believe that if you think long enough, plan carefully enough, or worry deeply enough, you can somehow prevent disappointment. But my beloved child, worry has never changed tomorrow. It has only stolen peace from today. There is a difference between responsibility and control. I have called you to be faithful with what I place before you today. I have not asked you to carry the weight of every possible tomorrow. You are responsible for loving, serving, forgetting, growing, and walking in obedience. But you are not responsible for making every person choose wisely. You are not responsible for controlling every circumstance. You are not responsible for forcing every door to open or every prayer to be answered according to your timeline. Those things belong in my hands. Think of a small boat floating on a wide river. The person inside the boat can guide the oars, adjust the sail, and remain attentive to the journey. But they cannot command the wind to blow in a certain direction or force the river to change its course. Instead, they learn to work with what has been given while trusting that the river will carry them toward their destination. My beloved child, your life is much the same. There are decisions you must faithfully make, but there are also currents only I can direct. Peace comes when you stop fighting the current and begin trusting the one who created the river. I have watched you become exhausted from trying to solve problems that have not even happened yet. Your mind races through endless possibilities, imagining every outcome except the one where I faithfully provide. Fear paints pictures of failure while ignoring the countless times I have already carried you through impossible situations. Remember how many things you once worried about that never came to pass. Remember how many times you believed there would be no way forward, yet I opened a path you could not have imagined. My faithfulness in your past is evidence of my faithfulness in your future. Sometimes you ask me to reveal every detail before you take the next step. You want certainty before obedience. But if I showed you the entire journey at once, you might begin trusting your own understanding more than my guidance. I invite you instead into a relationship where every step becomes an opportunity to discover my faithfulness again. Trust does not grow because everything becomes predictable. Trust grows because you continue walking with me even when you cannot yet see the whole road ahead. There are people in your life you deeply love, and you wish you could protect them from every hardship. You pray for them. You encourage them. You worry about the choices they make. My beloved child, continue loving them, continue praying for them. But remember that I love them even more deeply than you do. I am at work in their lives in ways you cannot always see. Release the burden of believing that everything depends upon you. You are not their savior. I am. There are dreams you have placed before me, and you wonder why they have not yet come to pass. You have tried different plans, searched for better opportunities, and questioned whether you should strive even harder. Hear my gentle voice. Do your part faithfully, but leave the results in my hands. A farmer plants the seed, waters the ground, and cares for the field, but the miracle of growth comes from me. In the same way, remain faithful in what I have called you to do, and trust me with what only I can accomplish. Control often disguises itself as wisdom, but beneath it is usually the fear of surrender. Surrender does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never yours to bear. It means you choose to believe that my wisdom is greater than your understanding, my timing is better than your urgency, and my plans reach farther than your imagination. Surrender is not weakness. It is one of the greatest expressions of faith. Whenever anxiety begins knocking at the door of your heart, pause for a moment and remember my promises. Breathe deeply and remind yourself that I have never failed you. The same hands that formed the mountains, placed the stars in the heavens, and calmed the raging sea are the hands holding your future. Nothing you face is too complicated for me. Nothing that concerns you is too small for my attention. Every prayer you whisper reaches my heart, and every burden you release becomes another opportunity for my peace to fill your soul. So, my beloved child, loosen your grip on the things you cannot control. Stop carrying tomorrow before it arrives. Stop believing that everything depends upon your strength alone. Place your fears, your unanswered questions, your loved ones, your dreams, and your future into my hands. I will guard what you entrust to me. I will guide you when the path seems uncertain. I will strengthen you when your heart grows weary. And as you continue walking with me, you will discover a freedom that comes only from trusting the one who has always been, and always will be, completely in control. Writing, my beloved child, there are days when you look at yourself and wonder whether you are making any progress at all. You compare who you are today with who you hoped you would already become, and you feel discouraged because the changes seem too small to notice. You question whether your prayers are making a difference. You wonder if your faith is growing or if you are simply standing in the same place. But I want you to know something that your eyes cannot yet fully see. I am strengthening you every single day, even in ways that remain invisible to you. Growth is rarely loud. It does not always announce itself with dramatic moments or immediate victories. More often, it unfolds quietly, one faithful step at a time. Just as the roots of a great tree grow deep beneath the ground before its branches reach toward the sky, I have been developing strength within your spirit where no one else can see it. Others may notice only the visible parts of your journey, but I see the hidden transformation taking place in your heart. Every lesson you have learned, every temptation you have resisted, every prayer you have whispered, and every moment you chose hope instead of despair has been making you stronger than you realize. Think about a blacksmith shaping a piece of steel. He does not strike it once and declare the work complete. Again and again, he places it into the fire, carefully shaping it with patience and purpose. Every moment of pressure serves a greater design. The steel becomes stronger not despite the process, but because of it. My beloved child, there have been seasons when you wondered why life felt so demanding. You questioned why another challenge arrived before the previous one had fully passed. Yet through each experience, I have been strengthening your character, deepening your faith, and preparing you for responsibilities that require a heart firmly rooted in me. Do not mistake endurance for failure. Sometimes you look at the length of your journey and think you should already have reached your destination. But every mile you have traveled has added something valuable to your life. You have become more compassionate because you understand what it means to struggle. You have become more patient because waiting has taught you to trust my timing. You have become more gracious because you have experienced my mercy in your own moments of weakness. These qualities are treasures that cannot be purchased. They are formed through faithful perseverance. There were times when you believed you would never recover from disappointment. Yet here you are, still standing. There were nights when you thought your heart would never heal. Yet today, you are able to smile again. There were battles that convinced you they would destroy your hope, but somehow your faith remained alive. My beloved child, do not overlook these victories simply because they happened quietly. They are evidence that my strength has been carrying you all along. The enemy often wants you to focus on how far you still have to go. I want you to remember how far I have already brought you. There was a time when fear controlled many of your decisions. Now you have begun choosing faith even when uncertainty remains. There was a time when every setback left you without hope. Now you recover more quickly because you have learned that I never leave your side. There was a time when you believed every closed door meant the end of your story. Now you understand that my plans are greater than temporary disappointments. This is growth. It may not always feel dramatic, but it is real. Do not become discouraged because your journey does not look like someone else's. I am strengthening you according to the calling I have placed upon your life. A mountain climber develops different muscles than a sailor crossing the sea. Each journey requires its own preparation. In the same way, The strength I am building within you has been designed specifically for the purpose I have prepared. Trust that I know exactly what you will need when the next season arrives. Every morning my mercy is renewed for you. I do not expect you to carry yesterday's failures into today or tomorrow's worries into this moment. I simply ask you to walk with me today. Let today's faithfulness become enough. As you continue placing one step in front of the other, I will continue adding strength where you feel weak, wisdom where you feel uncertain, and peace where anxiety once tried to remain. When you feel tired, come and rest in my presence instead of believing that exhaustion means you are failing. Even the strongest hearts need moments of renewal. Rest is not the absence of faith. It is an act of trust. It is your way of acknowledging that my power continues working even when you are still. In those quiet moments, I refresh your soul, renew your hope, and remind you that you do not carry this journey by yourself. One day you will look back and realize that the person you have become is far stronger than the one who first began this journey. You will notice that what once frightened you no longer holds the same power. You will respond with greater peace where you once reacted with fear. You will choose forgiveness more quickly, hope more confidently, and trust more deeply. You will recognize that I have been transforming you little by little, day after day, through every joy and every trial. So do not lose heart, my beloved child. Even when you cannot measure your progress, my work within you continues. I am strengthening your spirit, refining your character, renewing your mind, and preparing your heart for the beautiful future ahead. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that every day spent with me is another day of becoming stronger. The work I have begun in you is not slowing down, and I will faithfully continue it until you stand with a heart full of peace, unwavering faith, and the joyful assurance that my strength has always been more than enough for you. My beloved child, I know there were days when it felt as though the darkness would never end. You looked around and saw uncertainty where you hoped to find clarity. You searched for signs of change, yet everything appeared the same. You prayed with all your heart, but the answers seemed distant. In those moments, it became easy to believe that the night would last forever. But I want you to lift your eyes and listen carefully to my voice today, because the light is breaking through. What you have been waiting for is closer than you think, and the hope you believed was fading is beginning to rise again. Every night has an appointed ending. No matter how long the darkness remains, it has never possessed the power to stop the sunrise. The dawn does not ask permission from the night. It simply arrives at the time I have appointed. In the same way, the season you have been walking through does not have the authority to remain forever. I have already determined its limit. What feels endless to you is only a chapter within the greater story I am writing. My beloved child, do not judge your future by the darkness surrounding your present moment. Judge it by the faithfulness of the one who has promised never to leave you. Think of the first light that appears on the horizon before the sun fully rises. At first, the change is almost impossible to notice. The darkness still covers much of the sky, yet something has already begun. A faint glow quietly announces that morning is coming. The birds begin to sing before the full daylight appears. The earth starts awakening before the sun reaches its highest place. My beloved child, many of the changes I am bringing into your life begin just as gently. Before circumstances dramatically shift, I first awaken hope within your heart. Before the door fully opens, I begin preparing you to walk through it. Before the blessing becomes visible, I quietly set every detail into motion. Do not overlook the small signs of my faithfulness. Sometimes you expect miracles to arrive with great noise, yet I often work through simple moments that gradually transform your life. A conversation that encourages your spirit. A burden that suddenly feels lighter. a peace that settles over your heart without explanation, a new desire to keep believing when you almost gave up. These are not accidents. They are rays of my light breaking through the clouds that have surrounded you. There were seasons when discouragement became so familiar that you almost accepted it as your normal way of living. You expected disappointment because you had experienced it so often. You prepared yourself for rejection because you had known it before. You guarded your heart against hope because you feared another painful ending. But my beloved child, I did not create you to live beneath the shadow of constant fear. I created you to walk in the light of my love, my truth, and my promises. Remember how many times I have already carried you through impossible situations. There were valleys you believed you would never leave, yet here you are. There were storms that convinced you they would destroy you, yet they eventually passed. There were tears that seemed endless, yet I gently wiped them away with my comfort. If I have been faithful through every chapter behind you, will I not remain faithful in the chapter ahead? My character has never changed. My love has never weakened. My promises have never failed. Sometimes you ask me why the light did not appear sooner. My beloved child, timing is one of my greatest gifts to you. If the sun rose in the middle of the night, the earth would not be ready to receive it. In the same way, I bring blessings into your life at the moment when they will accomplish the greatest good. While you were waiting, I was strengthening your heart, preparing your character, arranging circumstances, and aligning opportunities that you could not yet see. The delay was never evidence of my absence. It was evidence of my wisdom. I also want you to become a bearer of light for others. There are people around you who are still walking through nights of fear and uncertainty. They need someone who can remind them that dawn is possible. Your kindness, your patience, your encouragement, and your testimony will become lamps along their path. The comfort I have given you was never meant to stop with you. It is meant to flow through you into the lives of those who are still searching for hope. Do not be discouraged if there are still a few clouds in your sky. Clouds cannot stop the sunrise. They may hide it for a moment, but they cannot erase it. In the same way, temporary obstacles cannot cancel the future I have prepared for you. They may test your patience, but they cannot defeat my purpose. Continue trusting me even when every answer has not yet appeared. Continue walking by faith, knowing that every step brings you closer to the fullness of what I have promised. My beloved child, the light breaking through is more than a change in your circumstances. It is a change within your heart. It is the confidence that grows because you now know I have never abandoned you. It is the peace that remains even before every prayer is answered. It is the joy that quietly returns because my presence has become greater than your fears. So lift your head with expectation. Let hope awaken once more within your soul. Leave behind the belief that darkness has the final word. It never has, and it never will. I am the light that no shadow can overcome. I am the dawn that no night can delay. I am the hope that never fades. Walk forward with confidence, my beloved child, because the light is breaking through, and the beautiful future I have prepared is already beginning to shine upon your path. My beloved child, I did not create you merely to survive each day. I created you to grow, to flourish, and to become everything I lovingly designed you to be. There is more within you than you have yet discovered. There are gifts that have not fully awakened, courage that has not been fully tested, and faith that is ready to rise beyond where it has ever been before. Today, I am calling you higher. I am inviting you to leave behind the limits that fear has placed upon your heart and to step into the greater purpose I have been preparing for you all along. Do not misunderstand what it means to go higher. It is not about becoming greater than other people. It is not about seeking recognition, applause, or positions of honor. The higher life I am calling you to is a deeper relationship with me. It is a heart that trusts me more completely, loves more freely, forgives more quickly, and serves more joyfully. The closer you come to me, the more clearly you will see who you truly are. There have been seasons when comfort became familiar. After walking through difficult valleys, you naturally desired a place where nothing would challenge you anymore. I understand that longing. Rest is a gift I gladly give my children. But comfort was never meant to become your permanent destination. There comes a time when I gently call you to rise again, not because I am dissatisfied with you, but because I know the strength I have placed within you has outgrown the place where you have been standing. Think of an eagle perched upon a strong branch. It could remain there for many days, safe from immediate danger. Yet the eagle was not created to spend its life clinging to a branch. It was created to soar above the mountains, carried by winds that other birds fear. Before it can soar, however, it must release its grip on what feels familiar. My beloved child, there are places, habits, and fears you must release if you are to experience the heights I have prepared for you. You cannot embrace the future while holding tightly to everything that belongs to the past. I know that taking a step into the unknown requires courage. You have asked yourself, what if I fail? What if I am not ready? What if I cannot do what God is asking of me? Listen carefully to my answer. You are not stepping into the future alone. Every place I call you to, my presence goes before you. I never send you into a new season without also providing the grace you need to walk through it. Your confidence should never rest in your own strength. Let it rest in my faithfulness. Sometimes going higher means letting go of attitudes that no longer belong in your heart. It means releasing bitterness that has quietly taken root. It means replacing pride with humility, fear with trust, and discouragement with hope. Spiritual growth is not only about what you begin doing. It is also about what you willingly leave behind. Every burden you surrender creates more room for my peace to fill your life. There are dreams I placed within your heart that you have been hesitant to pursue because disappointment taught you to expect less. You quietly convinced yourself that small expectations would protect you from future pain. But I never called you to live beneath the weight of fear. I called you to walk my faith. Faith does not ignore reality, but neither does it allow present circumstances to define eternal possibilities. Faith sees beyond today's limitations because it trusts the one who holds tomorrow. Do not compare your climb to someone else's. Every mountain has a different path. Some roads are steep, while others are gradual. Some journeys require longer preparation, because the view I have planned for you is greater than you presently imagine. Trust that I know exactly how to lead you. I have never asked you to race against others. I have simply invited you to faithfully follow me. As you rise higher, you will notice that some things naturally fall away. Voices that once filled your mind with doubt will lose their influence. Habits that once kept you bound will begin to disappear. Fears that once controlled your decisions will no longer hold the same power. This is not because you have become perfect. It is because your eyes have become more focused on me than on the things that once distracted you. The closer you walk with me, the less appealing the chains of yesterday become. Do not become discouraged if the climb feels demanding at times. Every step upward strengthens your spirit. Every challenge develops greater endurance. Every moment of obedience deepens your trust. The mountain may require effort, but the view from where I am leading you will reveal my faithfulness in ways you have never experienced before. You will look back and realize that every difficult step was preparing you for greater peace, greater wisdom, and greater joy. My beloved child, I am calling you beyond the life you once thought possible. I am calling you beyond fear, beyond regret, beyond insecurity, and beyond every lie that tried to convince you that you were incapable of fulfilling my purpose. I see not only who you are today, but who you are becoming through my grace. I see the compassion growing within you, the courage awakening in your heart, and the faith becoming stronger with every passing season. So answer my call with confidence. Do not wait until every fear disappears. Do not wait until every question has been answered. Simply place your hand in mine and take the next step. I will lead you safely. I will strengthen you continually. I will open the doors that belong to your future and close the ones that would lead you away from it. Rise with me, my beloved child. I am calling you higher, not to place heavier burdens upon you, but to reveal the beautiful life I have always intended for you, a life filled with purpose, peace, courage, and the unshakable joy of walking closely with your loving Father. My beloved child, there is a reason I keep inviting you to move forward. It is not because your past has no meaning. Every season you have lived through has shaped you in some way. Every joy has taught you gratitude. Every sorrow has deepened your compassion. Every challenge has strengthened your faith. But there comes a moment when remembering becomes different from remaining. I never intended for you to build your home in yesterday. I have called you to walk forward without looking back, because the future I have prepared cannot be fully embraced while your heart remains anchored to what I have already brought you through. I know how easily memories return. Some bring a smile to your face, while others still carry pain. There are moments you wish you could relive because they were filled with happiness, and there are moments you wish had never happened because they left deep wounds. Sometimes you find yourself wondering what life would have been like if one decision had been different, if one relationship had lasted, or if one opportunity had not slipped away. Those thoughts can quietly steal the peace I have placed before you today. My beloved child, regret is one of the enemy's favorite tools. He wants you to keep staring at closed doors until you miss the new ones I am opening. He wants you to replay old failures until you believe they define your identity. He wants you to become so focused on what was lost that you overlook what is being given. But I did not create you to live as a prisoner of memories. I created you to live in the freedom of my grace. Think about a traveler climbing a mountain path. If the traveler spends every step looking behind, they will stumble over the rocks ahead. The path becomes dangerous not because the road is impossible, but because their attention is fixed in the wrong direction. The safest way to reach the summit is to appreciate how far they have come while keeping their eyes on where they are going. My beloved child, I want you to remember my faithfulness in your past, but I do not want you to become trapped there. Let your memories become reminders of my goodness, not chains that prevent your progress. There are mistakes you continue carrying even though I have already forgiven them. You ask me for mercy, and then you continue punishing yourself long after my forgiveness has covered you. Why do you insist on reopening wounds that I have already begun healing? Why do you continue carrying guilt that I have already lifted from your shoulders? My grace is not partial. When I forgive, I do not leave you halfway free. I invite you into complete freedom. Receive that gift with humility and gratitude instead of returning to the prison from which I have already led you out. There are also losses that still cause your heart to ache. You miss people who are no longer walking beside you. You remember dreams that unfolded differently than you expected. You sometimes wonder if the happiest days of your life are already behind you. Hear my voice clearly. I am not only the God of beautiful memories. I am also the God of new beginnings. I do not ask you to forget the blessings of yesterday, but I do ask you to believe that I am still creating blessings for tomorrow. Do not allow fear to convince you that because you were hurt once, you will always be hurt. Do not believe that because one door closed, every future opportunity will disappear. Do not assume that because one season was filled with hardship, every season ahead must be the same. I'm always doing new things. Just as each sunrise brings fresh light to the earth, my mercy brings fresh hope into your life every day. The future is not a repetition of your past. It is a place where my faithfulness continues unfolding in ways you have not yet imagined. Sometimes moving forward requires releasing the identity you formed during difficult seasons. You may have become accustomed to seeing yourself as broken, overlooked, rejected, or unworthy. Those labels may have felt true because of what you experienced, but they have never been the names I have spoken over you. I call you my beloved child. I call you chosen, cherished, redeemed, and deeply loved. Do not continue wearing garments that I have already asked you to lay aside. As you walk forward, there will still be moments when old memories try to call you back. When that happens, do not argue with them. Simply return your eyes to me. Remember my promises instead of your fears. Remember my faithfulness instead of your failures. Remember my love instead of the rejection you once experienced. Every time you choose to trust my voice over the echoes of your past, you take another step into the freedom I have prepared for you. My beloved child, the road ahead is filled with opportunities you cannot yet see. There are people waiting to be encouraged by your testimony. There are blessings waiting to surprise you. There are prayers already moving toward their answers. There are moments of joy that will make you realize why certain chapters had to come to an end. If you remain focused on what has already passed, you may miss the miracles that are quietly approaching. So lift your head and straighten your shoulders. Do not walk with the posture of someone defeated. Walk with the confidence of someone deeply loved and faithfully guided. Leave your regrets in my hands. Leave your fears at my feet. Leave your unanswered questions within my wisdom. Take my hand and keep moving forward. I am walking ahead of you, clearing the path you cannot yet see. I am walking beside you, strengthening you when you grow weary. I am walking behind you, reminding you that your past no longer has the authority to define your future. Walk forward without looking back, my beloved child, because the life I have prepared for you is waiting just beyond the next faithful step, and it is more beautiful than anything you have left behind. My beloved child, I know there are moments when your heart feels like a battlefield. Thoughts come rushing in from every direction, each one demanding your attention. One thought reminds you of yesterday's disappointments. Another worries about tomorrow's uncertainties. Still another questions whether everything will truly work out as I have promised. Before long, your mind becomes tired, your heart grows heavy, and peace seems far away. But I want you to hear my promise today. My peace will guard your heart. It is not a fragile peace that depends on perfect circumstances. It is my peace, and nothing in this world is stronger than what comes from me. The world searches for peace in places that can never permanently provide it. Some seek it in success, believing that one more achievement will finally satisfy their hearts. Others seek it in possessions, hoping that having more will remove every worry. Some look for it in the approval of others, constantly trying to earn acceptance that never seems complete. But all these things change. Success rises and falls. Possessions come and go. Human opinions shift like the wind. If your peace depends upon changing things, your heart will always remain uncertain. The peace I offer is different. It is rooted in my unchanging presence. It does not disappear when storms arrive. It does not weaken because of difficult news. It does not abandon you when life becomes complicated. My peace remains because I remain. Just as the deepest parts of the ocean stay calm even when powerful waves move across the surface, I desire to establish that same deep calm within your soul. Circumstances may still change around you, but your heart can remain secure because it is anchored in me. Think of a mighty fortress standing upon a high hill. Strong walls surround it, protecting everyone inside. Storms may strike against its gates. Winds may shake the trees around it. Enemies may gather outside, but the fortress remains secure because its foundation is strong. My beloved child, my peace is like that fortress. When you choose to trust me, my peace stands guard over your heart and your mind. Fear may knock at the gate, but it does not have permission to rule within. Anxiety may try to enter, but my truth is stronger than its lies. I know there have been nights when sleep seemed impossible because your thoughts refused to become quiet. You replayed conversations, imagined worst-case scenarios, and carried burdens far beyond your strength. During those moments, you tried to solve tomorrow's problems while forgetting that tomorrow had not yet arrived. My beloved child, I never asked you to carry the future alone. I asked you to place it into my hands. Every anxious thought is another invitation to remember that I am still in control. Do not confuse peace with the absence of challenges. Some people believe they will finally have peace when every problem disappears. But if that were true, peace would always remain just beyond reach because life will always bring new seasons and new responsibilities. True peace is not found in the absence of storms. It is found in the certainty that I am with you through every storm. The waves may rise, but my hand remains steady. The winds may blow, but my voice still speaks. Do not be afraid. I am here. There are times when I calm the storm around you. There are other times when I calm your heart while the storm continues. Both are miracles of my love. Never underestimate the miracle of a peaceful heart. A calm spirit can hear my voice more clearly than a heart consumed by fear. When peace fills your soul, wisdom becomes easier to recognize, hope becomes stronger, and faith grows deeper. My beloved child, protect what enters your heart. Be careful not to give fear more attention than you give my promises. If you continually feed your mind with worry, anxiety will grow stronger. But if you continually fill your heart with my truth, my peace will become the louder voice. Return often to my promises. Remember the countless times I have already carried you through impossible situations. Let gratitude remind you that my faithfulness has never failed. When you feel overwhelmed, pause for a moment. Breathe deeply and remember that I am nearer than your next breath. You do not have to solve everything immediately. You do not have to understand every detail before taking the next step. You simply need to trust that the one who created the heavens and the earth is also faithfully guiding your life. I have never lost sight of you, and I never will. Peace also grows when you release the need to control every outcome. So much of your anxiety comes from trying to hold together things that belong in my hands. Release them. Place your loved ones, your future, your dreams, your fears, and your unanswered questions before me. I am able to carry what has become too heavy for you. What feels impossible to your strength is never impossible to mine. There will be moments when fear returns and tries to reclaim its place. When that happens, do not believe you have failed. Simply return to me again. Peace is not maintained by your own effort alone. It is renewed every time you choose to trust my heart above your circumstances. Every prayer you whisper, every promise you remember, and every burden you surrender becomes another step into the peace I freely give. So rest in my presence today, my beloved child. Let my peace surround your heart like strong walls around a secure city. Let it quiet every anxious thought and steady every trembling emotion. Walk into each new day with confidence, not because you know exactly what tomorrow holds, but because you know the one who holds tomorrow. My peace will guard your heart. My love will strengthen your spirit. My faithfulness will lead your steps. And as you continue walking with me, you will discover that no storm is powerful enough to overcome the calm that I have placed within you. My beloved child, there is something beautiful unfolding in your life that you may not fully recognize yet. You have often looked at your journey through the eyes of pain, asking why certain things had to happen and wondering whether your struggles had any purpose beyond your own life. But I want you to know that the story I am writing within you was never meant to end with you. Your testimony will become a light for many who are still searching for hope. The comfort I have poured into your heart will one day overflow into the hearts of others who desperately need to know they are not alone. I know there were seasons when you wished your life looked different. You wondered why your path included so many valleys while others seemed to walk through open fields. You questioned why your faith had to be tested again and again. There were moments when you cried out to me, asking why the road felt so long. Yet even while those questions filled your heart, I was preparing something far greater than you imagined. I was shaping a testimony that no one could ever take away from you. A testimony is not created in moments when everything is easy. It is born in the place where my faithfulness meets your willingness to keep trusting. It grows every time you choose hope instead of despair. It becomes stronger every time you forgive instead of becoming bitter. It shines more brightly every time you continue walking with me after every reason to give up has whispered into your heart. The victories that will inspire others are not only the ones they will see at the finish line. They are also the quiet victories that happened when no one was watching. Think of a lamp placed in a dark room. During the daylight, its light may seem small because the sun already fills the room. But when darkness comes, even a single lamp becomes precious. My beloved child, the darkness you have walked through has prepared you to become that lamp for someone else. There are people who will one day stand where you once stood. They will feel the same fear, carry the same questions, and cry the same tears. When they hear your story, they will discover that I remain faithful to you, and they will begin believing that I can remain faithful to them as well. Do not ever think that your pain has been meaningless. Every tear you cried taught you compassion. Every disappointment deepened your understanding of my grace. Every unanswered prayer taught you to trust my timing. Every storm revealed that my presence was stronger than your circumstances. These lessons are treasures that cannot be learned from comfort alone. They become gifts that you will one day share with people who are desperately searching for hope. Perhaps you have felt ordinary for much of your life. You looked at yourself and wondered what difference you could possibly make in this world. My beloved child, never underestimate the power of one life surrendered to me. A single word spoken with love can restore a weary heart. One act of kindness can change someone's entire day. One testimony of my faithfulness can awaken faith in someone who had almost stopped believing. Great change often begins with simple obedience. There will be moments when you feel hesitant to share what I have brought you through. You may think your story is too broken, too messy, or too ordinary to matter. But remember this: people do not find hope because someone lived a perfect life. They find hope because they see my perfect grace working through imperfect people. Your scars do not disqualify you from encouraging others. They become evidence that healing is possible. They remind those who are suffering that broken hearts can be restored by my love. As I continue writing your story, remain humble. Never believe that your testimony belongs only to you. Every blessing I have given you is an invitation to bless someone else. Every comfort you have received becomes an opportunity to comfort another heart. Every lesson I have taught you becomes wisdom you can lovingly share. The more freely you give what I have placed within you, the more abundantly my love will continue flowing through your life. There will be people who watch your life more closely than you realize. Some will never tell you how much your quiet faith encouraged them. Others will find strength simply by observing the peace with which you walk through difficult seasons. Your patience will speak. Your kindness will speak. Your forgiveness will speak. Your hope will speak, even when you feel unnoticed. I am using your life to reflect my light into places you cannot yet see. Do not wait until every chapter of your story feels complete before allowing me to use you. Even now, while I continue healing and strengthening you, your journey has value. Someone needs to hear that I carried you through another day. Someone needs to know that hope remained alive even when answers were delayed. Someone needs to see that my peace can exist in the middle of uncertainty. Your life is already declaring my faithfulness in ways that words alone never could. So continue walking with courage, my beloved child. Continue trusting me through every season. Continue choosing faith even when the road is difficult. I am not only preparing blessings for your life, I am preparing your life to become a blessing for others. One day you will look back and realize that every valley, every mountain, every tear, and every victory became part of a testimony that pointed countless hearts toward my love. Walk forward with joy, knowing that I am transforming your story into a message of hope. The chapters that once brought you pain will become chapters that bring healing to others. The battles that once exhausted you will become evidence of my strength. Your testimony will encourage many, because it will not be a story about how strong you were. It will be a story about how faithful I have always been, and through your life, many hearts will come to believe that the same faithful Father is walking beside them as well. My beloved child, now that you have walked with me through every word I have spoken to your heart, I want you to return to where this journey began. You remember the moment I first whispered, "This is your sign." Those words were never meant to be a passing thought. They were an invitation. They were my gentle reminder that I have been with you from the beginning, guiding you through every fear, every question, every season of waiting, and every step toward hope. This sign was never an accident. It was a divine appointment, lovingly prepared before you even realized you needed it. You may have believed that you simply came across this message because of a recommendation, a search, or a random moment of curiosity. But my beloved child, I have often used ordinary moments to accomplish extraordinary purposes. I have always been able to speak through unexpected paths. What seems like coincidence to human understanding is often part of my careful design. Before you arrived here, I already knew the burdens you were carrying. I knew the questions hidden deep within your heart. I knew the silent prayers you had whispered when no one else was listening. And because I knew, I gently led you to this moment so you could hear my voice again. There have been times when you asked me for a sign, but you expected something dramatic. You imagined thunder from the heavens, an unmistakable miracle, or an immediate change in your circumstances. Yet I often choose quieter ways to reach my children. Sometimes the sign you seek is not found in a sudden event but in a renewed heart. Sometimes it is the peace that settles over your spirit after months of anxiety. Sometimes it is the courage to take one more step when you thought you had no strength left. Sometimes it is simply the assurance that you are deeply loved and never alone. Those quiet miracles are no less powerful because they happen gently. Think of a shepherd searching for one sheep that has wandered farther than the rest. The shepherd does not wait for the sheep to somehow find its own way back. He goes searching with patience, compassion, and determination. When he finds the sheep, he does not begin with condemnation. He lifts it onto his shoulders and carries it safely home. My beloved child, there have been seasons when you felt lost, confused, or weary. Yet I never stopped searching for your heart. Every reminder of my love, every unexpected encouragement, Every moment of hope that appeared in your darkest days was another step of my pursuit. This message is part of that loving pursuit. As you look back over your journey, begin noticing my fingerprints where you once saw only ordinary events. Remember the door that closed and later protected you from greater pain. Remember the delay that eventually revealed my perfect timing. Remember the people who came into your life just when you needed encouragement. Remember the strength that appeared when you thought you could not continue. None of those moments happened outside of my care. I was weaving them together with wisdom that reached beyond what you could understand at the time. Do not return to believing that your life is directed by chance. You are not drifting through random moments without purpose. I know every step you take. I know every tear you cry, every dream you carry, every battle you fight, and every victory that awaits you. Even when the path seems uncertain, my hand remains steady. Even when you cannot trace my plan, you can trust my heart. I have never stopped leading you, and I never will. Perhaps after listening to these words, you still have unanswered questions. Perhaps some prayers are still waiting for their appointed season. That does not mean this sign has failed. The greatest purpose of this sign is not simply to tell you what will happen next. It is to remind you who is walking with you into every tomorrow. When you know that I am beside you, uncertainty no longer has the power to steal your hope. My presence becomes greater than every unanswered question. From this day forward, whenever doubt tries to convince you that you have been forgotten, remember this moment. Whenever fear whispers that you are walking alone, remember this conversation between my heart and yours. Whenever disappointment tempts you to give up, remember that I spoke life over your weary spirit. Let these words become an anchor that steadies you through every changing season. Return to my promises whenever your heart grows tired, and you will find that my faithfulness remains exactly where it has always been. My beloved child, this sign was never about a single moment. It was about awakening your heart to the reality that I have been speaking to you all along. I have been leading you through every valley, strengthening you through every trial, restoring you after every disappointment, and preparing you for every blessing that lies ahead. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been forgotten. Every chapter of your story has been held within my loving hands. So walk into the days ahead with renewed confidence. Stop searching everywhere else for reassurance when my voice has already spoken peace over your life. Let hope replace hesitation. Let faith overcome fear. Let my love become the foundation beneath every step you take. This sign was never an accident, my beloved child. It was my loving invitation to trust me more deeply, follow me more closely, and live each day with the joyful confidence that I am always with you, guiding you toward the beautiful future I have prepared since the very beginning. My beloved child, we have walked together through every part of this journey, and now we have come to this final moment. Yet this is not the end of my conversation with you. It is only the beginning of a new season in your life. Every word I have spoken has been an invitation for you to draw closer to me, to release your fears, to trust my heart, and to remember that you have never been alone. Long before you heard these words, I already knew the path you had traveled. I knew every hidden tear, every silent prayer, every disappointment, every victory, and every hope that still lives within your heart. I have carried you this far, and I will continue carrying you every step of the way. When you leave this moment, do not leave my presence behind. Take my peace with you into your home. Take my promises with you into your work. Take my love with you into every conversation, every decision, and every new opportunity that lies ahead. Let the truth I have spoken become stronger than the fears that once tried to rule your heart. Whenever anxiety rises, remember that I am your peace. Whenever uncertainty appears, remember that I am your guide. Whenever weakness makes you question yourself, remember that my strength is made perfect in your weakness. Do not forget what I have reminded you throughout this journey. I have seen every hidden battle. I have never forgotten my promises. I have been healing what you could not see. I have been opening doors that no human hand could open. I have been rebuilding what was broken, strengthening you day by day, and preparing blessings that are perfectly timed for your life. Even when you could not recognize my hand never stopped holding yours. Even when you could not hear my voice, I never stopped speaking words of love over you. There will still be days when questions arise. There will still be moments when life feels uncertain. The storms of this world will not disappear completely, but you no longer need to face them with fear. You now know the one who walks upon the waves. You know the Father whose love never changes, whose wisdom never fails, and whose mercy is new every morning. Let that truth become the anchor of your soul. Do not measure my faithfulness by your circumstances. Measure it by my unchanging character, for I remain the same through every season of your life. My beloved child, keep your eyes on me more than on the opinions of others. Keep your heart open to my gentle voice more than to the noise of the world. Continue forgiving quickly, loving generously, praying faithfully, and trusting deeply. When you stumble, do not remain on the ground. Reach for my hand, and I will lift you again. When you grow weary, come and rest in my presence. When you rejoice, rejoice with gratitude, knowing that every good gift comes from my loving heart. Never believe that your story has become ordinary. I am still writing it. There are chapters of joy you have not yet read. There are prayers I am already answering in ways you cannot yet imagine. There are people whose lives will be forever changed because of the testimony I am writing through you. There are doors that will open, relationships that will be restored, burdens that will be lifted, and dreams that will bloom in their appointed season. Trust me with every page that remains unwritten. Walk into each new day with courage instead of fear. Walk with compassion instead of bitterness. Walk with faith instead of doubt. Let your life become a reflection of the love I have poured into your heart. Be patient with yourself, because I am patient with you. Be kind to others, because I have been endlessly kind to you. Continue seeking me, and you will always find that I am nearer than your next breath. Whenever you feel forgotten, remember that I call you by name. Whenever you feel weak, remember that my strength surrounds you. Whenever darkness tries to return, remember that my light has already broken through. Whenever the road becomes difficult, remember that I have gone before you, I walk beside you, and I remain behind you, surrounding your life with my everlasting love. Nothing can separate you from my care, and nothing can prevent my purpose from unfolding when you continue trusting me. Now, my beloved child, receive this final blessing. May your heart remain filled with peace that surpasses understanding. May your mind be renewed with hope each morning. May your hands become instruments of kindness. May your words bring life to those around you. May your faith grow stronger with every passing day. May you recognize my presence in ordinary moments and celebrate my goodness in every season. Walk confidently, knowing that you are deeply loved, completely known, and forever held in the hands of your Heavenly Father. Before you go, hear my heart one more time. If these words have strengthened your spirit, let them continue reaching hearts that are still crying out for hope. When you give through a super thanks, become a member, or use the PayPal donation link in the video description or the QR code shown in this video, you are helping my light travel farther than you can imagine. Remember my living promise to you: give, and it will be given to you, for I delight in multiplying every act of love offered with a willing heart. Say within yourself, Father, I choose to be part of the harvest you are bringing into the lives of others. Do not ignore the invitation I place before you today, because your obedience can become the answer to someone else's prayer. I blessed every cheerful giver with renewed strength, wisdom, peace, and provision according to my perfect will. Let your generosity become a river that carries my comfort into homes across the world. Let your gift declare that my love is still reaching the broken, the weary, and the forgotten. Stand with this mission boldly, sow your seed with faith, and become a faithful partner in spreading my word to every heart I am calling. Amen.